One, and how long can they keep this up? 13-0. They do play some key non-conference games. I've been looking forward to Oregon at Texas Tech, which is coming up on Saturday night. Auburn and Cal is a very interesting game. Hugh Freeze saying a moment ago when asked specifically about Jarquez Hunter, there are a lot of questionable players. He chooses not to get into a list of questionable players. That tells you Jarquez Hunter is maybe not likely to play in this game Saturday night, which would be big for Auburn. A big weekend coming up for the Pac-12, but man, color me impressed what they did week one.
My storyline, LT, is the SEC. They lost 3 high-profile games. Florida to Utah, not like opponents there. North Carolina to South Carolina, felt like opponents there, but maybe edged North Carolina. LSU, Florida State, like opponents. They lost all 3 of those high-profile games. Big storyline moving forward this weekend. Miami hosting Texas A&M. Tulane hosting Ole Miss. Texas is at Alabama. Arizona's at Mississippi State. Auburn's at Cal. If the SEC goes 1-4, 0-5, and that's doable.
Yeah, I can see it.
Well, that's doable. Houston, we've got a problem. I know Houston's not coming to the league, but
I get you.
But oh my goodness, I mean, where's the out-of-conference high-profile wins? It's a big weekend for the SEC. There's enough street cred. The SEC doesn't have to worry about this, but they need a good weekend coming up.
They do.
Yeah, look, and I know it was only 1 week for Georgia, but again, not that impressive offensively. And my storyline would be the Michigan Wolverines. And you look at J.J. McCarthy channeling his best Jim McMahon with a free hardball shirt on. And
they got in line before the first snap and held 4 fingers up. I mean, woof.
And you start to look at the schedule now. Ohio State, again, it's week 1. But I think they're more worried about the trip to Penn State. But I think they absolutely breeze before they go. They're going to be undefeated at 9-0 before they go in to take on the Nittany Lions on November 11th. And I think Michigan with J.J. McCarthy and Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards, this is a team to watch.
Yeah, and again, it looked like they were toying with the opponent on the weekend. That's our big storylines moving forward, coming out of week 1 of college football. Remember, bonus hour today, we'll get Nick Saban and Hugh Freeze's news conference in the 12 o'clock hour. So we'll go a little long today, all year long on Mondays, a little overtime for you here on the show. Quick break here. Trash is part of the next segment. As we roll on today, the show being brought to you in part by our friends at Odie's. Tell us about the great folks at Odie's.
Birmingham Institution. Get in, see Will Haver and that great staff. Odie's Tavern. Again, Rodney Davis cooking up great food for more than 3 decades. Award-winning wings, delicious burgers. My personal favorite, that Diablo sandwich. Ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Great place to watch college football. Live music Fridays, Saturdays. Not only Crestline, but now Homewood. It's Odie's Tavern.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live Daily Show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
You've been wearing that thin, raggedy t-shirt for years now, and people cannot stop whispering and staring in your vicinity. We've all been there. Luckily, there's a solution to your lack of fashion and social cues. At NextRound.store, they have plenty of options when it comes to a variety of shirts and hats. Once you start putting that Next Round gear on, be prepared to make new lifelong friends and hundreds of unforgettable conversations. Hope you like random high fives in the street, because that's what you're getting after visiting nextround.store.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcasts like Bama and Bourbon, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family, all at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light. is on now.
Just when you think we were done with weekend, they pulled us back in. Just when you think we were done with week one, they pull us right back in case you want to edit that to make it sound better to start with. Down goes Clemson last night against Duke. And listen, my wife's been a Duke fan since 2022. She said it was the most emotional game she's ever watched in Duke football history.
Did she storm the court with the rest of the New Jersey kids?
I told her as she invaded my space last night to watch this, I said, sadly, this is not going to be a very big field rush. It'll look nothing like Tennessee or Auburn or LSU. But then it actually looked better than I thought it was going to look.
I agree, yeah.
I mean, that could fill up well more than a basketball court.
I thought they were very orderly, too. They cut to Luganville, and all the kids are still out of bounds, right? And Luganville's got space to do his work.
Yeah, it looks like somebody won a high school championship.
Yeah, it does. I mean, good for them, though.
That's right. Congratulations to, whose school colors are that? Moody High School. Congratulations.
4A champs, yep.
Way to go, Moody. 4A championship.
Protective stadiums never look better.
But listen, I've been to that stadium. They've improved it a lot since I was there.
Well, they took
Alabama.
the track out. You're not a serious college football program if you have a track around your field.
That's
and
right.
they used to have a track around the field.
So I think they've upgraded some seating and stuff. But it looks like Clemson is gathering to make that long. Guys, I've told you this before. The visiting locker room back in the day, I don't know if they've changed it, was the length of the practice field to the practice facility of Duke on the other side, where the visitors dress.
Right.
And it's like a long, 250-yard walk.
So if you're Clemson, that's your walk of shame.
That is the longest walk.
That is
in
a walk
Clemson
of shame.
football
I'll tell you who
history.
won't be taking that walk long, and that's Mike Elko.
No, he will not.
And this is a guy that I've been hyping up since Notre Dame's defense coordinator, A&M's defense coordinator, 9 wins last year. I had a sneaky feeling about this game.
No, you said it. You did not say it on the show because it was your lock.
Yeah, it was the only game out there, so I really couldn't.
Lance has to be careful of that because that is lanceslock.com. That is subscriber information. But after the show, I was like, hey, who's locked tonight in this game? Because I knew, that was the only option was this game. I said, who's your lock tonight in the game? He goes, oh, it's Duke, and I think they're going to win outright. Lance literally told me that after the show.
And they were getting 12?
12 and a half.
12 and a half last night.
And I think they're going to win outright, he said.
Now the Clemson backers are going to point out 2 block kicks, 2 first and goals, but on the other side,
that's
Duke
the
muff punt.
Yeah.
Duke was going into the red zone when they fumbled. There were mistakes on both sides. They won the game by 21 points. I said it yesterday. Dabo cannot develop quarterbacks.
Let's hear from Dabo and make the point you're making through a Dan Wetzel tweet and get into more discussion as we get rolling today right here on our instant connected reaction to last night's big upset, brought to you by our friends at Alabama Power. You can save $1 anytime with Alabama Power. Alabama Power offers rates to help you save on your power bill when you enroll in a time of use rate. You save money when you avoid using major appliances at the same time during peak hours or the heat of the day. Staggering the use of major appliances and running them on nights and weekends are simple ways to help lower your bills with time of use rates. To sign up or get more details, go to alabamapower.com/time advantage. That's alabamapower.com/time advantage, or visit them in person at any of the Alabama Power offices near you. Here's Dabo Swinney with the lack of power from the Clemson offense.
Again, it's the weirdest game I've ever been a part of. I've been beat. I've had my butt kicked many times in my career, but I can honestly say I haven't. That's one of the strangest games I've ever been a part of. Maybe I would feel better if we just went out there and got stoned, and we were, 1 of 11 on 3rd down, and we got stoned in the run game, and whatever. But that's not what happened. What happened was they held up and they finished better than we did in the critical plays that we needed to make. I know a lot of people probably gonna quit on us and give up on us and throw us away, but man, I ain't quitting and I ain't throwing this team away. We're gonna bounce back and we're gonna get better. We're gonna learn from it. I love the kids in the locker room and we'll stay together and we'll get back to work.
And Dabo wanted his guys to get stoned, man.
Yeah, now I don't know his definition of stoned, 28-7. And
I'm sure some did after the game.
It seemed like it.
They were more physical in places, a lot of places. They ran the ball, they finished plays and everything. But to his point about the strangest game, Dan Wetzel points this out. It's an oddity. In the second half, Clemson neither scored nor punted in the entire second half.
Well, that's hard to do. You're
right.
They
did not score or punt. It was touchdown Duke, missed field goal Clemson. Punt Duke, fumble Clemson. Punt Duke, fumble Clemson. Touchdown Duke, turnover on downs. Punt, interception. Touchdown, turnover on downs, end of game.
The turnover on downs, that was the wildest play of the game. When Klubnik goes down, he starts his slide short, and it was very clear that he did. Now, that is a very subjective rule, obviously. Where does he start his slide? But
he clearly started
No, he
it before
clearly
the
did.
line,
When you
yeah.
go back and look at the replay, that slide starts before. But why he's sliding feet first, that's just a total lack of awareness of football, which I expect Klubnik to be better than that.
Yeah, and I thought he had a couple more yards to even go.
There's no doubt he did, and dive forward.
But I
he's a
still was
physical
surprised.
runner.
Yeah, take the contact.
I mean,
you got to get that first down. You have to get that first down.
If it's the first half, or even if it's
Okay,
third
maybe
down,
not. Yeah.
or even if it's third down, sliding, maybe you're going to get it fourth and
But the
one.
game is literally on the line if
It
you
is
don't get that
fourth
first down. Yeah.
But by rule, Brown, I was surprised, and it seemed like the broadcast crew was as well. I don't understand. I understand. Okay, he's sliding.
It's dead right there. That's
So
what you have to remember.
So it's dead as
It's
soon as
dead
he
as soon as he
starts
starts his slide,
So
because
it's a dead ball penalty.
That's right.
at
It
that
was a
point.
dead ball foul.
I've never seen that.
I know.
haven't either,
I had
ever.
not seen it happen that way. No.
Yeah, that's the right call. But, in real time, I was like, I cannot believe they just gave them a first down.
I couldn't either.
I couldn't either.
Yeah, because
In real time, I was like,
sure
I thought this is
that
where
it extended.
Clemson's going to start winning the game right here.
It's one of-
Stupid plays like that.
One of those boneheaded
That's
plays
right.
that comes back and they end up making it all the way.
But
into
that
the
just
end zone.
showed you it was Duke's night, that they can make a bonehead play and they still got the ball out of it.
Well, that's what's amazing when you brought up the muffing of a kick by Duke. Usually, when a team's trying to pull an upset, double-digit dogs, they do something like that. That's usually what wakes up the other team, and it just never happened. To me, the biggest play of the game, when the first time, I don't know about you guys, the first time I thought, okay, Duke's got a chance to pull the upset here, is when Riley Leonard took it right side, didn't step out of bounds, went 44 yards for the touchdown. I was like, okay, they're going to win this football game.
Yeah.
They're going to win this football game. And I know we talk about this clock all the time and the change of the rules. You know when you really notice it? When you become 2 scores down in the fourth quarter. I mean, you really notice at that point, well, we just passed it out of bounds. And this clock ain't stopping.
That's right.
This clock ain't. There's nothing I can do to extend this game anymore.
I got a first down and tick, 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 tick.
I'm right?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
Like you pass it out of bounds, and they stops for a second, but then the clock is running
That's
again.
an old rule. We changed that rule a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean it's just go
outside
go.
of 2 minutes.
Go.
I got to say this too. I didn't think Duke played well last night. I
They
thought
did
they
not.
played okay. Riley Leonard wasn't that accurate. You see what he's able to do with his feet. I do believe he's going to be the 3rd overall quarterback in this draft.
But you know what?
Maybe 4th.
You know what he does, LT, and he did it time and time and time again. And some people, used to criticize A.J. McCarron a little bit for this, but A.J. McCarron knew the situation. He knew the play they were in, and when it wasn't, he never ever took a risk. And when the play was over with, A.J. didn't throw it into the ground. He didn't sail it over somebody's head. He threw it in like row 4.
Yeah.
Like he made sure that I'm out of the pocket or I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do by rule, but there's going to be no indecision. Nobody's going to decide whether I made a bad pass or not. I am planting this one in the seats, and he just protected the ball. Riley Leonard just protects the football. He did it last year, and he started off last night. So many chances to try to force something, and Clemson was looking for a spark. And you can do that. You can make that mistake sometimes as a quarterback. I was just impressed in the way he managed the game, throwing it away when there was nothing there.
Oh, very, very comfortable. He went in our first round yesterday.
Riley Leonard did, yeah. Alabama kid.
But, only 17 of 33. They had 7 penalties. They had 2 turnovers. Jalen Calhoun, your best skill guy, had a drop. He had a muff punt. So, again, they didn't play great. They still win the game by 21. Clemson, look, over 400 total yards. First time since 1989 that they've beat a ranked team, and I guess that was under Steve Spurrier back in 89. Clemson's got some problems.
Well, first of all, 2 things. Number one, first time in Clemson history, they've rushed for 200 and passed for 200 and lost the game. That was the first time in school history. So you saw history last night.
108-0.
Yeah, they were 108-0 before that. And Dabo was 50-something-0. He had half the wins where they had rushed for 200 and passed for 200. And that's the first time they'd ever lost. And here's where, and you said you knew when Riley Leonard made that run down the sideline in the second half. Do you know what jumped out at me about that? This is what impressed me so much about Mike Elko. That makes it 12-7. So many coaches panic and go for 2 right there.
No, not him.
Mike Elko was so in control of his emotions in that game. They just kick and go up 13-7. They leave it at 6.
You tell me one thing Mike Elko has done since he's taken the Duke job that makes you question him as a coach.
I cannot. I mean, he's winning at a place where nobody wins. Now, cut when there's some.
Yeah.
But not to this level.
Steve Spurrier is the last Duke coach to beat a top 10 team 34 years ago.
Yeah.
34
I know.
years ago.
No. Mike Elko has pressed every single right button.
Almost half of our workforce up here is under the age of 34.
It's true.
Yes.
Introducing you to a new one today in the 11 o'clock hour that is under the age of 34.
Hey, I'll tell you this: Duke starts 4-0, and then they've got Notre Dame coming to Durham.
Hey,
and obviously Durham has become a
tough place to play.
A house of horrors.
But is that a gimme for Notre Dame?
No,
not at all.
I'm glad you regrouped, and then stuck the landing of that one.
What's Notre Dame's favored by what in that game? If Duke's 4-0,
if Duke is 4-0, it depends on what Notre Dame does this week.
That's what I was about to say. Let's see what they do.
State.
Let's see what they do in the triangle this weekend.
I looked at that one. Trust me.
If they play this week, I think it would be about what NC State is. Probably Notre Dame 6.5.
Tough spot for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And we've seen nothing out of Notre Dame. I mean, they have played 2 cupcakes so far, so we really don't know what Notre Dame has. I think they're pretty good.
But I do believe that Mike Elko, when something comes up, look, I mean, they've got a really difficult second half of the season. You got to go on the road to Florida State. You got to go to North Carolina. Again, you got Notre Dame and NC State coming in. You got Pitt coming in. Even if they're 6-6, though, I would be confident as an AD to pull in a guy like Elko.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think Mike Elko was a rising star in this game. And good for him. He seems like a good dude. I think it was Marcello that sent out the video.
Very even kill.
He was up for a job, and this video leaked out of him as the Notre Dame defensive coordinator where he's in a huddle and he's wearing his guys out, and he's just dropping F-bombs on them. I mean, by the way, I think 99.9% of football coaches use that word in practice.
Right.
And apparently some school president saw the video and told his search committee, we're done with that guy.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm 100%. I think Marcello had it. We'll ask Marcello when he comes on later. I think it was him that was tweeting about it last night, and he's like, this is why you don't let school presidents pick coaches. Because I don't know who that school was, but I bet you they don't have a guy as good as Mike Elko right now.
That's right. Ross, we will introduce employee number 13 coming up right before trash today of Disrupt the Media up here. That's not the airport we pulled from.
I think we're done flying into that airport.
Yeah, I think the last
plane left.
Last plane from Saigon.
Yeah.
I think that's a song.
Last
Mango in Paris.
Yes.
Is a Jimmy Buffett song.
And that line is in there. The last Mango from Paris.
I knew it wouldn't take long, Patrick. If Saban retires this year and we hire Elko, I'm ecstatic.
I don't think he would get that job.
But why not?
Yeah, but maybe.
I mean,
again, I like Elko a lot.
Does he not use a style that looks like it would work?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's a good-looking offense. They play – I know they just gave up 400 yards, but they play pretty good defense.
Yeah, Cade Club looks like an average quarterback.
He does.
I was going to get to that right after you tell us about our friends at Hemphill, because there are two things I think we need to consider here. One, that Will Shipley may be the only superhero left in the Clemson Justice League. And two, does Clemson fans owe DJ Uyunglele an apology? Tell us about Hemphill, and let's answer those questions.
Hey, our friends at Hemphill offering 0% for 60 months for qualified customers, plus free 10-year labor warranty when you mention the next round. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemphill Services. Make sure that HVAC unit ready to keep up with this weather. Hemphill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team could service all makes and models for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Call Hemphill Services. Hard to stop a train, 205-229-2090. Or hemphillservices.com.
Jay Pear in the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room over there, listening to us and watching us in Dallas. Y'all doing a live show from T-Town on Friday. I have on my list that is not a
That
go.
is a no.
That'd
be a hard no.
Yeah.
That's going to be a wild place.
Yeah, but it's Tuesday, so I always leave open the possibility of LT, throwing something at me for a Friday live show, but not this time around.
I'm not opposed to that.
How about a Friday night, late night show?
Not opposed to that.
Not opposed to that. Hey, on Thursday night, though, we do our first Bud Light game night. And our friends at Bud Light, we appreciate them so much. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. We're going to be at Top Golf
That is
Thursday
correct.
night. We'll be there 5 to 7. The live show this year, we used to do it on the front end of our 2-hour Bud Light game night, 5 to 6. Not this year. We're going to be 6 to 7 on our video platform, 6 to 7 on our video platform. We'll still have all the normal fun we have on a Thursday night, but we'll take a little twist this year and talk a little bit about the upcoming games point spread-wise, including the Thursday night NFL and college football, the Friday night college football, the Saturday and the Sunday slates, and we'll do that with our friends at Lance's Lock, lanceslock.com. So that's coming up. Thursday night, Top Golf downtown with our friends at Bud Light, and tune in because, well, come there first. But if you can't make it this time, but if you do show up, you got an opportunity to get on something pretty special. And I think it's going to be a really tough thing to come about.
Interesting,
to
Jim.
get later on.
It's quite a tease.
And then, but if you can't make it Thursday, listen in because you'll get details on why you need to be with us every Thursday night throughout the college football season. All right, to the questions I asked. First off, on Klubnik as the quarterback. It was his first regular season start. He's only a sophomore. But DJ Uiagalelei got criticized as the quarterback, so much so he's at Oregon State. Had better protection at Oregon State, albeit against San Jose State in week 1. Put up some really good numbers. But I've said this a couple of times this summer. DJ Uiagalelei did not have the receivers Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence had. DJ Uiagalelei did not have the offensive line that Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence had. And Clay Klubnik last night did not have the receivers that those two guys had and didn't have the offensive line. And he airmailed a couple of balls early that could have set the tone of the game. He made some mistakes, including the slide at the end. I don't know if we can put this guy even in DJ Uiagalelei's class.
Oregon State's a better team than Clemson. I mean, I'm fully convinced of that. I know it's week 1, and people would say I'm crazy.
Well, you are known for some extreme overreactions.
Wow.
Again, I said this yesterday, and you guys thought I was crazy, or maybe I said it last week, that Jonathan Smith develops quarterbacks better than Dabo Swinney. And you brought up Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence. Those are Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to ignore those, Lance.
Yeah, no, I get that. But, it's kind of like Jameis Winston with Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah, I mean, Jimbo gets credit for that.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't not give guys credit, though, for players that play for them.
You only judge them by the bad ones?
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying these are 5-star guys. I mean, he's got a 5-star now playing for UMass. He's got a 5-star playing for Oregon State. His 5-star looks average.
Yeah, but I mean, who has Jonathan Smith developed?
Well, I mean, a little different when we're talking about Corvallis. I'm just saying quarterback play is more consistent under Jonathan Smith.
But I'm not going to ding Dabo for getting 5 stars and turning them out to the NFL as top draft picks. I mean, that's what a coach is supposed to do.
No, but I think he did well on getting 2 generational guys, but outside of that.
Taj Boyd was a pretty good quarterback now.
And recruiting is part of the job.
Yeah.
But it looks like he swung and missed. I mean, he's got He's got a bunch of what looked to be Duke wide receivers.
Yeah, that's my point. Is it's not to me as much the quarterback as it is. Now, again, I'm going to say this: Klubnik is not in, and neither is Uiagalelei in the class of even Taj Boyd and Deshaun and Trevor, but Klubnik would be better if he was throwing to the same guys Trevor Lawrence was throwing to when they waxed Alabama in the national championship game, and those guys were catching comets.
I mean, look, there's no DeAndre Hopkins, there's no Sammy Watkins, there's not even a Justin Ross his freshman year. I mean, I don't know what's happened.
Yeah, well, they're not getting those guys. Yeah. They're going to Ohio State. They're going to, they were going to Alabama for a minute, and now they're going to other places.
Well, Alabama's missed on receiver too.
Yeah, so far. Yeah, so far. Yeah, we'll see. The next recruiting class is supposed to bring in some good ones. One more note on last night's game before we put it to bed. Our first guest is Clay Travis coming up at 10 Central. Later, a friend of the show, Brandon Marcello, joins us at 11 o'clock. Riley Leonard, by the way, the quarterback at Duke last night, uses the ACC digital request. Remember, Duke is an academic institution.
I've heard.
He gets on video on the ACC digital. Please send this out real quick. Professor Taylor, ironically, Professor Taylor, not you, Lance.
Any relation, you think?
No.
Professor Taylor, I hope you give me a pass on my homework. I think it's due at midnight, and we're still on the field, and it's past midnight. I'll get it to you a little late as soon as I get back to my to my dorm room.
Oh, the old student athlete. But there's a 50-50 chance at Duke. Professor Taylor had no clue there was a football game that night. So.
I try to get my degree. I transfer out because if you're the starting quarterback, and especially a guy that just upset a top 10 team, you shouldn't have to do homework. It's a business now.
It's a business.
Yeah.
You shouldn't
Just
have to do
play.
homework. But from our friend at Saturday Down South, let me make sure I get his name right, Alex Anstead. He has this graphic about just recruiting last night. 4- and 5-star players on the field last night. Clemson, 56 of them. Duke, 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
56-2 in the recruiting rankings last night. Karen jumps in early with that as well before Forrester could pull up. Thank you, Alex, for that point there from Saturday Down South in college football. 4- and 5 stars, 56-2 last night. There was a time you would have thought that had been the score between Clemson and Duke.
You ever seen a player, we'll call it Bobby Bonilla, has a great year, gets a big contract, and starts, spending money and focusing on other things? I'm telling you, when Dabo started to build this house, I'd love to see the timeline.
I think it's less about that, and I think it's more about Dabo's unwillingness to embrace the transfer portal. I just don't think you can win big in college football anymore if you don't. You don't have to wholeheartedly embrace it the way Primetime or Lane Kiffin does it.
Yeah, you don't have to do 65 players or 51 players.
But you got to dabble in it.
Yeah.
You can't get by and not play the transfer portal game. It's too easy for teams to get good too quickly. And Dabo he doesn't like it. He doesn't like the NIL game.
It's leveling the field, isn't it?
It's what everybody said. It's what everybody said would drive Nick Saban out of football. Well, Nick Saban has embraced it as best he can, and he's working it. Dabo refused to embrace it, and you see what's happened.
But Nick said this on Hey Coach just last Thursday night. He said, listen, our number ones aren't leaving. But my 2s are hitting the portal.
That's right, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, Alabama recruits some pretty good 2s who eventually becomes number 1s. So those 2s are going to other places, and they're making plays. They're playing somewhere else. Well, if Clemson is not taking advantage of maybe some 2s leaving Alabama, because some of Clemson's 2s are going somewhere else, to places like Duke.
Yep. You could win 9-10 games a year playing it that way, but you're not going to win championships.
Well,
anymore.
that's the thing. I think Clemson's still going to be a middle of the pack, like a top 15 team.
I do too.
Winning 10 games every year. But do I think they're going to win any championships anytime soon? No.
If they don't embrace the way of doing it now, the NIL game and the transfer portal, they will not. You just can't do it anymore.
Jason says, saw Trooper Taylor on the sidelines for Duke last night.
Somebody recruiting.
Trooper was there. Mike Elko, I know Duke's got academics, right? But he wants some dogs on that sideline, and Troopers can recruit, absolutely. All right, upset to end week 1. I mean, make it a poll question. Bud Light poll question right here. Bigger surprise of the weekend, that Colorado beat TCU, that Duke beat Clemson, or that Florida State beat LSU by as many points as they beat them, by double digits.
Yeah.
So not just that Florida State beat LSU, but they beat LSU by double digits. So Taylor, make that a Bud Light poll question. We'll send that out as well. And, hey, one of the biggest events in sports coming to Talladega right here in Alabama on September 30th through October 1st. It's the NASCAR playoffs coming back to town, and there's nothing else like seeing the drivers door handle to door handle, bumper to bumper at 200 miles per hour on the world's fastest speedway. That's what you get at Talladega. And we've got Hardy in concert. Hardy's in concert as well in the infield during race weekend. Can I get a hell yeah? Yeah, Hardy's in concert. So your race ticket gets you to the Hardy concert, gets you to the race on Saturday, and the big race on Sunday, October the 1st. To get your ticket details, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. When we come back, are you guys okay with Greg Burns saying, okay, I saw you last year. Here's a little cold pizza for you when we come back on TNR.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at ScottForresterTV.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call GutterCapBirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Hey, Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. Do you want to help pay for my kids' college and look great while you're doing it? You need to go to The Next Round store. Everything from hats to short sleeve and long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, and much more. And we're adding new things all the time. Why would you not want to see my kids get a great college education and look great out in the public while you're doing it? Get the gear we wear all the time on the show, and there's only one place to get it. NextRound.store. That's NextRound.store. Do you need extra cash handy? Look no further than Legacy Credit Union for whatever loan your lifestyle requires. It only takes a few minutes to apply and request the amount you need to give you peace of mind. With affordable low rates and manageable payback plans, a Legacy Lifestyle loan is crafted just for you. Apply online today at LegacyCreditUnion.com/join. Lifestyle loans from Legacy. Terms and conditions may apply. Legacy is federally insured by the NCUA.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations, but we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, Brombergs.com. Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice. IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. It's our friends at Hydra Live. Mention Next Round at checkout. Save 20% off any service. Hydra Live's got 3 locations: Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone. Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations: Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Back with you on The Next Round as we move closer and closer to the start of the NFL season coming up Thursday night. Moore's Marinade, if you want to get out and do a little cooking. I did a little pork chop before the Sunday night big showdown.
Yeah.
I had that soaking a little.
Tell me more.
Soaking a little bit, big cut, soaking a little bit in the Moore's Marinade, the spicy one. That's my favorite one.
I know it's good, isn't it? Yeah. And Moore's Marinades and sauces, they've got a great variety to choose from. They're also lower sodium than the leading lower sodium marinades. And that lower sodium, it doesn't take away any of the flavor. There's a great, delicious hickory flavor to everything you're putting on the grill. Burgers, chicken, steak, pork chops like Dunaway. Even put it on your veggies. And don't forget that buffalo wing sauce from Moore's on everything you eat. Dip, drizzle, or slather Moore's on chicken fingers, burgers, sandwiches, pizza, even pasta, tacos, fries, and more. It is so good. See why grill masters prefer Moore's marinades and wing sauces. You can also get recipe ideas and grilling inspiration when you visit mooresmarinades.com. That is mooresmarinades.com.
Tripp says everyone throwing Clemson in the trash reminds me of people throwing LSU in the trash last season after the Florida State loss. LSU media was actually mocking Kelly at pressers. Long season ahead for Dabo and the crew.
Much different. Last year was Brian Kelly's first year. They played horribly. But the expectation for Clemson this year was championship or bust.
Yeah.
And to lose by Duke, or to lose at Duke by 21 points as a double-digit favorite, unacceptable.
We'll bring Clemson back a little bit later on, but here's another question to ask later, and save your answer for later on. When we pull Clemson's schedule up later on, Brownie, can Clemson be the team that falls from the top 10 out of the top 25 by the end of the year? Something we'll get back to a little bit later on. All right, I wanted to address this quickly, and we're getting some reaction over there. One person says, put the Texas band at midcourt in Coleman Coliseum. Another person says, Clemson fans, can I introduce you to section NN at Bryant-Denny Stadium? If you're not familiar with what went on last year, it is common courtesy, and it's a rule in the SEC, that a certain percentage of tickets for SEC visiting teams involves a certain number, about 2,000 lower bowl seats in the corner at Bryant-Denny Stadium, and the rest are in upper decks like you get. But there's a rule in the SEC. It's sort of a gentleman's agreement.
That's
We're
right.
going to take care of each other. You return to favor home and home. Well, last year, Chris Del Conte, the athletic director at Texas, put every Alabama fan, including the band, who ended up, I don't think, going.
They did not go because of this, yeah.
Their seats were so high, 100,000-seat stadium, and every Alabama visiting ticket was last rows, upper deck, worst place to be. And Greg Byrne, reached out and says, hey, we're all going to be in the same league. Here's what we do in our league. Chris Del Conte's answer publicly was, I got to take care of Texas people.
That's right.
So Greg Byrne this year, and you can see from Nick Kelly, Tuscaloosa News, a year ago, Alabama didn't send its band to Austin for the Texas game because it would be sat in the upper deck. This year, Alabama will be returning the favor, upper deck tickets only for Texas fans and band. Got to love college football. The word Greg Byrne used in his statement to the Tuscaloosa News, it was an opportunity for us to reciprocate how we got treated last year in Austin.
Okay, look, and this is again, because I hold a grudge against one person in this world. So this is going to sound against the grain for me, but I wouldn't have done it this way.
Really?
I would have.
I 100% do it this way.
I would have killed him with kindness because look, you beat them last year.
What do you have to gain?
Your whole goal is to run their ass off the field this year.
Well,
so let their fans leave early.
Their fans get to watch it from way up top of the bat seats. I'd 100% done this. In fact,
I think most people would have.
Yeah, I'm surprised you wouldn't have.
Well, I just
really.
think it would have been an interesting look if Greg Byrne would have been like, "Look, so petty. This is the way. We're hospitable in the SEC. We're not going to change just because he was a dick last year. We're not going to do it that way. We're going to do it the way we've always done it."
Okay, here's the way I would have done it, Lance, because I keep a list.
I know everybody's going to disagree with me.
No, you're way in the minority on this one. You know that.
The first thing I would be is
yeah, who is it?
Coach Saban, it's Greg. Can I come in?
You know it's a game week, right, Greg?
I do. Just real quick.
Is this going to take less than 2 minutes, Greg?
Yeah, yes, it is. I just need a yes or
All right,
no.
yes, come in. What do you need,
think
Greg?
it's going to add any extra motivation to the outcome of the contest if I return what Texas did to our fans last year and put us all in the upper deck? Do you mind if I seat Texas all in the upper deck? Because it's going to get some play in the media.
How did this get to me, Greg? Why are you standing here?
I just need a yes or no.
That's a no. If you don't mind closing the door on your way out
you
there.
got that button. You could close it.
You know what he would say?
You be on the other side.
I don't give two shits.
Yeah.
You guys, you put them where you want to put them. That's got nothing to do with what we're doing.
Okay, Saban does not care.
But in the Texas locker room, because I don't think it motivated Alabama's players last year. But do you think Sark and his coaches look how they're treating us, boys?
Well, if you need that to motivate your team for this game, you're already in trouble.
Okay.
If your team can't get motivated without you motivating them to go play Alabama at Alabama, you're fighting a losing battle to begin with. If you got to play games like they put our fans in the upper deck, you gonna let that happen to us? I mean, that's the equivalent of, they put a coffin in our end zone. How many times did you see that goofy stunt in high school?
They weed-eated our field.
Wait a minute.
Let me ask you
Welburn put a coffin in our end zone. You guys going to let Welburn do that to us?
Tell them weed-eated on the 50-yard line, PHS.
Again, mine's in the minority, but can you imagine? What did he tell the Tuscaloosa News? We're going to reciprocate.
Yeah, it's
right?
reciprocate. Yeah. It's the
You know
way
what
they
I would have
treated us.
said? We're going to do it like we do it in the SEC. We're going to give them a front row seat to their ass whipping.
That's right.
That would have been a great
That would have
line.
been
You're
better,
right?
right?
Hey, it's a night game, so you guys can wear black like you're coming to a funeral.
That's probably where Nick Saban would have said, Greg, why don't you come on to the office? Let me talk to you for a second.
But it would have been a great
Let me
answer.
open that door. Let me open that door real quick.
It's interesting. It's gamesmanship. There's a way to handle it, like LT says. I am not I'm not that guy. I'm a payback kind of guy.
So
I'm an eye for an eye guy.
The New Testament thing to do, oddly we're here, the New Testament thing to do is what Lance is saying. You and I are very Old Testament, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth,
No,
right?
I normally am too. I think if somebody does something, again, whoever let Bullet in those woods, I'd probably secretly shoot him in the head.
Secretly.
Yeah.
So how do you do that, with a silencer?
That's a silence. Shh.
Yeah, a compressor. I don't know. I know this is going against grain for me. I don't think it's going to matter.
It's not going to matter. Again, if Texas needs this for motivation, Sark's got bigger problems.
Dunaway, if you're an eye for an eye guy, I wonder if I would have tried to get you fired.
Oh, boy. We're back to that Rockstar. Rockstar, welcome
No,
back.
I'm just saying. What would you have done?
I don't think it happened.
Rockstar, this was not part of our checked luggage in the Charlotte airport. We did not leave it there.
And I'll go ahead and say this publicly right here. I'm not an eye for an eye guy anywhere but sports. I'm a forgiving person just about everywhere else except for sports.
But I mean,
and work and media. I do keep a receipt on affiliates who do and do not help us.
I don't even
not as much as Taylor Korn, social media director, who
boy.
keeps receipts on people who give us credit and do not give us credit.
She really does. She's
Oh my God!
I have never seen Little T get so fired up when somebody uses our content without credit. Because have we ever told anybody no to using our content?
No,
Ever?
we encourage
In fact,
it.
we encourage it. The
Encourage
more
it.
people that use it, the better. Just keep our logo in there.
Yeah. We'll send you. How do you want it? We'll send it to you.
That's right. I mean, we will. Scott and Lunsford and number 12 and everybody up here, Rockstar, they'll make it so easy for you to get our content. Just ask and give us credit.
Hell,
Boy.
Part of Initiation 13 will drive it over to your facility
That's right.
now. Yeah.
I've seen Little T ready to drop gloves about somebody that didn't give us credit.
Yeah. Part of the show being brought to you by our friends at Redmont Vodka, Redmont Distilling. College football conversation continues throughout the show, and of course, the great drinks that you drink at your tailgates can include our friends at Redmont.
Oh, look, I saw a Cracker Barrel commercial the other day, and they were promoting brunch. And I think the last time I ate at Cracker Barrel was 16 years ago.
Wow.
I remember
Very
the
specific.
meal. I know.
Happy anniversary.
But they've got alcohol
Did you get
now.
Uncle Herschel's breakfast?
No, I was with two of our former employers.
It was so long ago. It was Cousin Herschel back then. He wasn't an uncle yet.
No, but they didn't have alcohol back then.
Nope.
But in the new commercial, they're promoting brunch, and everybody's got a different cocktail. You know, somebody's got a mimosa, somebody's got Bloody Mary. And I was just thinking to myself, I wonder if our friends at Redmont have gone into Cracker Barrel and said, hey, we need to be serving the Redmont vodka. If you're in a Cracker Barrel, if you're in any restaurant or bar, ask for it by name. It's locally owned and operated. Charles Barkley, one of the great faces behind Redmont Vodka. Again, it's available in 22 states. It's gluten-free. It's 8 times distilled, available at your local package place, including the Beverage Place and Pink Package, also ABC stores. Again, ask for it by name. It is Redmont Vodka.
Drew is correct on the X or Twitter, whatever we call it now.
The app formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, at least our deal isn't making the fans sit in the sun at 11 a.m. like they did at Darrell K. Royal last year. It was not just the upper deck.
Blame that on Fox.
It was the upper deck and the heat of the day. Texas fans are catching a little bit of a break. They're going to be up at the deck.
In fact, we're doing
but the sun's going to be setting.
We're doing a favor, man. The chance to see the sunset.
That's right. And the wind's moving up there.
I'm telling you, you're missing an opportunity here because you go in there. Hey, you know what they did to our fans last year? They put them in the hot ass sun. You know, we're gonna give them a front row seat to that ass whipping.
They ought to make Texas fans. For everyone else in all these sections, gates open 2 hours before the game. If you're in these sections, you have to be here at noon. Make them just sit there and sweat.
All right. Jalen Milroe had a chance to talk, but as as the quarterback who's got one game as a starter under his belt last year, and now one game as not filling in as a starter, as it being his team, one game into the season. I thought he handled the moment, albeit against Middle Tennessee, but still you're on national TV and you had 100,000 plus fans there. Here's Jalen now about trying to prove those that are doubting him wrong, the Alabama quarterback.
Hey, Jalen, do you feel like you proved something personally to the naysayers this week? And what do you think maybe the team as a whole, if that's kind of y'all's mentality?
I think the biggest thing is being constantly hungry. Not worrying about proving anyone wrong, proving anybody right, just trying to get better. I think that's key, you know. I play for my brothers that's with me wearing the crimson and white. That's what I play for. And I play for the coaching staff, and I play for the Alabama fan. That's what I really play for. And I just want to get better. I want to get better for everybody, and that's what the key.
Yeah, my biggest takeaway from that game is they played 60 minutes of football. Milroe didn't turn it over.
Nope.
I mean, all you had to do is watch as simple as a handoff between Klubnik and Shipley, who have probably done that 1,000 times. And they fumbled in the red zone last night because they didn't mesh it right. They were not. One was pulling away. One didn't get the ball. I mean, it was a mesh problem. No turnovers, no interceptions, no fumbles from Milroe last week, and he runs the football like he does as well. And the team limited their penalties as well, and a lot of that's on quarterback too. A lot of the pre-snap problems Alabama had last year, sometimes that's on your quarterback. If you're not sequencing things right, if you're not timing things right, if you not have everybody on the same page, that can be a problem. Milroe handled that really well.
Yeah, look, 2 penalties. We talked to Tyler Booker about this yesterday. 0 turnovers. And Joel Klatt said this on the show yesterday. if they don't turn the football over, they win. I mean, Jalen Milroe is going to be a good quarterback if he doesn't turn it over. That's the only negative we've really heard with Milroe is ball security. If he doesn't turn it over, Alabama is going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, I mean, he does a lot of things right. The one thing he had done wrong before was turn the ball over, and you're one game in and he hasn't done that. So if he fixes that, and he had not as of spring practice. This was still an issue in spring practice. But that's spring practice, and this is live bullets. If he doesn't turn the ball over now, he had an opportunity to do it Saturday night. He threw a terrible pass into double coverage that could have easily been intercepted, and maybe, a more elite team in the middle intercepts that thing, right? But for the most part, he did not put the ball in danger.
Keep in mind, horns down is not a penalty automatically as they come to the SEC. It has to be done in a taunting fashion at a Texas player or the Texas sideline or something like that. So if you see that going from an Alabama player into the stands, it's not an automatic flag like it is in the Big 12.
Right. And this game will probably be a little personal for Milroe. Not that Texas didn't recruit him, but he is from Texas. He was asked yesterday after he was on the podium if you got any family members of the Texas fans. He's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this game hits close to home for him.
And his idol was Vince Young.
Yeah, absolutely. Why would it not be?
Yeah, I mean, we're at the age now where Vince Young, when he was a kid, he was cheering for Vince Young. That seems like yesterday to me, that 2005 national championship. But it's been almost 20 years now.
Yeah.
That's who Jalen Milroe, as a young man.
I'm surprised he was even watching that because, that was
2005.
18 years ago. What's Milroe? Was he watching when he's 3 or 4 years old?
Been 4 or 5 years old. Yeah. So you sat and watched that. But one other thing, Forrester, if I can get Saturday Down South, the graphic that they put out, this is something that haunted me my whole childhood. Like there were Cotton Bowl losses and others. These are the teams that Alabama all time has a losing record again. Again, thanks to our friends. You see the logo down there, Saturday Down South. Alabama 0-3 against Rice. I assume that's back when the old guy who's got the award named after him was quarterback.
The what after him?
They've got one award. Doak Walker, was he a Rice guy?
Oh, no, you're thinking of O'Brien. Yeah, the Davy O'Brien.
Davy
award.
O'Brien. Yeah.
Rice was the one where old boy came off the sideline and made the tackle, right? He had too much Bama in him.
Too much Alabama in me.
Got too much Bama in me.
2-7 against Texas all time. And if you're scoring at home, Alabama's won the last 2 meetings.
That is right. And they'll have a chance to even up that record just a little bit as Texas comes to the conference.
Boston College 1-3, a couple of Doug Flutie games there.
That's random.
Yeah, and some bad knee injuries. 3-5 against Notre Dame, starting to correct that a little bit.
I think they've won their last 3.
That haunted me. Yep. Texas and Notre Dame haunted me as a child. They just never could beat those guys. Just never. And there were some big games. Just never could beat those guys. So that's the list right there.
Alabama's got to schedule something with Central Florida and Northern Illinois just to get those off the list. Right?
Just to get that off the graphic.
They're kind of embarrassing. Yeah, the rest of them you can live with a little bit.
You may want to pick and choose that UCF the right year to do
that. Now's a good time for Northern Illinois. I don't think Michael Turner's walking through that door for them.
Yeah, but that was a bad year to have Northern Illinois. But UCF?
Northern Illinois just beat BC.
They did, yes.
And that Utah one, they want to wait until Cam Rising is and catch him on the sidelines before you do that Utah game too. That's an interesting list from our friends at Saturday Down South. Michelson looked back at history there and looking ahead to another big NFL season, which starts on Thursday night.
Yeah, 205-969-8100. That's the number you need to call. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. Make the call that I made over 2 decades ago. I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. 2015 vision, better than 2020 now. 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. Stop procrastinating. Call now. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
The next round brought to you by the biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, the Talladega Superspeedway. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming up. You don't want to miss it. The action kicks off Saturday, September 30th with the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, all leading up to the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs on Sunday, October the 1st. Be there to see these drivers battle for 500 miles to survive and advance to the next round of the playoffs. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Again, that is TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
As summer bids adieu, get ready to welcome the arrival of fall. But hey, it's not just football season making an entrance. In the world of pest, it's fall invader season. Hold on tight, because we've got 4 major troublemakers stepping into the spotlight: box elder bugs, kudzu bugs, ladybugs, and stink bugs. These pests don't just knock, they barge in like they own the place. But fear not, dial up Wayne's Pest Control now, 865-588-6686, and show those fall invaders who's boss. Don't let pests crash your fall. Take charge today.
If you're looking for a fun golf atmosphere that is laid back with a peaceful environment, the Meadows Golf Course in Harpersville, right off of Highway 280, is perfect for you. Just a short drive from Birmingham, this 18-hole, 200-acre track with rolling fairways and ample greens is the definition of peacefulness of the country just miles from the city. Enjoy a great lunch before your round and a cocktail on the wraparound porch after 18. Come see us today. The Meadows Golf Course in Harpersville, right off of Highway 280.
We've partnered with Who Is Coffee to create the Next Round blend. Available in light, medium, and dark roast. 100% Arabica beans. Specialty coffee roasted on demand. Available in whole bean or ground for drip pods. Espresso and coarse ground for French press. Go to nextround.store to get a link to pre-order today. Everyone that pre-orders will be entered to win a prize pack with coffees, shirts, hats, and tumblers. Nextround.store for the Next Round blend.
Back with you on the next round. NASCAR Fast is LT on our leaderboard real quick. Don't put it up yet for us or save it, but LT's out to an early start for Upset Alert. I'll tell you when that's coming up after I tell you that the NASCAR drivers are coming back to Talladega. You can get tickets for the race weekend coming up September 30th through October 1st by going to TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Hardy's in concert. Your race ticket gets you in to see the Hardy concert. Plus, you get all the excitement of the Yellowwood 500 NASCAR playoff race on Sunday and the Craftsman Truck Series playoff race as well. There's nothing like a race weekend. I mean, forget what goes on the track, which is the best in the world. The people watching is worth the price of admission, plus a Hardy concert. Get the tickets at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Lightning fast for LT out into the lead of Upset Alert. With all apologies to the Brown Bandit if he's on the show live later today or not. Our new scoring system, where you only get points if you pull the outright win, the upset. LT got 9.5 points for Toledo.
Wow. They didn't win the game.
They didn't win the game?
Illinois kicked the last-second field goal.
Scott, if we can pull down the scoreboard,
we'll
please.
Pull down the
Jim
scoreboard.
has given faulty information to the graphic builders.
So I thought we got the point differential if they won the game.
That is correct.
But you don't get it if you hit the...
I was confused. I had a scoring system that you guys wanted to...
you guys, nothing. I have never once complained about the scoring system.
Okay,
it's just, you get a 9.5-point dog on the road and they almost win the game and you don't get anything.
I got 3 for that last year.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too. We can rework it. We'll come up with something in commercial break.
Wait, what did you have last week?
Oh,
because Brown's got. I think they're still scoring on Brown.
They are. Well, on the Brown Bandit.
Yeah. Now do Washington, Boise State, because I had Boise State.
Okay. That's right.
Yeah. My guys were like,
last year an outright win of 6.5 or more was worth 3. Just getting it right was worth 1. It was a pretty simple scoring system.
Right.
I don't know why we've complicated it, but clearly we have.
There was some talk last week. I don't remember, but I put up a scoring system.
Now, you tried a new scoring system.
Yeah, you were like, here, I got an idea.
And
I was like, I don't know.
It was 4-2, 1-0.
Yeah. Again, I think we keep it as simple as possible. There's There's so much we got.
I say we go back to the old.
You guys as we increase our technology buy up here, you guys are getting, you guys are almost as good as Ernie and Shaq and Charles and Kenny on your graphics back there. So quick. That is really good.
I don't know. I don't really care one way or the other.
My point.
I think the less complicated, the better for this show. When we start to complicate things, we screw things up.
My point is to say another upset alert coming up at 10:25 Central Time today. We'll figure out the scoring system. Right now, LT was good. Brown and me, not good. Excuse me. Brown Bandit.
Terrible Brown Bandit.
And
he
me.
was, yeah.
It was a good skit, though.
But no, he's going to be back this week, he said.
It's a good skit. Somehow, though, I think it got lost in translation. To the NFL, right after LT tells us about our friends at Chicken Cock.
Yeah, Chicken Cock Whiskey. I had somebody up here yesterday when we were doing the draft. They were like, I think it was our boy David Walls. He was like, "Is that Chicken Cock really good?" And I'm like,
"What'd you say?"
I said, "Absolutely." Like, when we were laughing about it when we had it on Bama and Bourbon. I think it was actually 2 years ago. And then tried it out and was like, oh, my God, this is a legitimate bourbon. Chicken Cock Whiskey, one of the oldest whiskey brands in all of America, founded in 1856 in Bourbon County, Kentucky. Known as the famous old brand, Chicken Cock Whiskey has a name you don't forget. Chicken Cock preceded popular usage of the term rooster in describing a male chicken. Additionally, rooster tails were used to stir cocktails, i.e. the cocktail. You can get the bourbon and rye right here in the state of Alabama. All other expressions are available for special order at your ABC store, or you can order online. Find out more information. Go to chickencockwhiskey.com.
All right. NFL starts on Thursday night. It is Lions and Rockstar. What T-shirt does Rockstar have on today?
Look at that.
I have a paint-stained Lions shirt on.
Are we gonna? I think we've traditionally done Thursday or Friday. Which one are we doing with our gear?
Usually on the kickoff of the season on Thursday, we usually wear our gear. Do you have a second Detroit
I do
T-shirt?
not. This is it.
Can you watch that between now and then? We won't make fun of you if you wear it.
I'll say I watched it. Yeah.
Okay.
I wore some gear yesterday.
You did.
But guess
again,
what? I got plenty.
You got plenty. So Thursday is what we're doing. Everybody wear your favorite team Thursday.
Yep.
All right.
Did Lunsford? You picked a new team, right? Is it?
I did. It was while y'all were having technical issues. I did it.
Do you have any gear?
I have a lot of gear, yes.
All right.
Oh, what's the name of the team?
It would be the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, my gosh. I almost said something that's not politically correct.
Yeah.
I have a lot of gear from Levi Stadium, so it's not like I just picked a team out of the blue.
Right.
Are you standing room only on that bandwagon, or?
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to, go old Drake lyric that only one I know, but. Yeah, I like to start with the team and start at the bottom and ride him to the top. I was expecting you to be
I was already at the team at the absolute bottom.
Wait, so you're saying that because you went to Levi Stadium that
I have seen the 49ers in person more than any NFL team I've ever seen. It was a great experience. I've been to Levi Stadium. I've done the whole thing.
Well, how many times?
Twice.
That's a terrible stadium, I thought.
Y'all were pressed. That's different.
Oh, sorry.
Sitting club level is a whole different story.
It's a corrupt organization is what it is.
Wait a second. Did you just
I
caught
did you
that.
just shame us in the press saying you had a better seat in the club?
Because you were club level.
I did have a better seat.
Can't hide it. Can't hide it.
I mean, we used to get treated like kings in the press.
It's just in the middle of nowhere, man.
Yeah, but y'all were there for a college game. That doesn't count.
Yeah. I used to love it. I mean, I'm the only one probably, but I used to love it at old Candlestick.
I did too.
Because they had that one section at the end that the football seats were out, and it was like obstructed view over in the corner, and they were empty. But
they would
you'd
just
always
disappear behind there.
Yeah, you'd always have 8 or 6 people sitting over there. And I'm like, oh, those people are just out enjoying their day.
They clearly stuck in.
I bet they're smoking something.
And I know it's nostalgic for us. I just never thought you should have a infield in the middle of the
I agree
football
completely. And my Dolphins played with it some there at then Joe Robbie. I hated it.
Rams did not stop at the big game.
Yeah, I hated it.
Yep.
I mean, it would be awful. Like, they'd be snappy. The worst was when they were trying to kick a field goal. Which, by the way, last night, why are we talking about that kicker kicking 70 yards? He can't even get it over the line of scrimmage.
I thought that was a joke, and they're going nuts. And I'm like, please roll him out
there
because I want to scoop and score.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to see it. I mean, if he can do it, let's take a shot.
But then he can't even make it chippy.
For Dabo
was it the same guy or was it a short kicker?
Same guy. No, same guy. And they were talking about this kid can make it from 70 yards, and then he's got like a 35-yarder that he can't even hit. I'm like, why are we kicking this guy from 70?
Really, that wasn't blocked, right? He kicked it basically into people.
Yeah. Both his kicks were awful.
Yeah. I would say this, that I've done that on the tee box before, where you hit one of those, like you're just bombing them, then you hit one and it goes, shoo,
Yeah.
It just goes down.
Yeah, absolutely. But Dabo looked like he was right before the half talking to the kid. I mean, he was out there with his helmet buckled, looked like he was ready to go, and then they were talking.
Dave Pasch go. Apparently, he's going to kick it.
Yeah,
he's going nuts.
His teammates were like,
I know,
revving him up.
And I'm like, please. I was with Lance. I'm like, please kick it, because one of two things. Elko's smart enough to have somebody back for a kick six.
Yeah.
Or they'll block it. One of the two. Because I've already seen the kid kick. He can't get it over the line of scrimmage.
Hey, have you noticed ESPN, because they fire everyone, like how conservative Dave Pasch was? Like, Dabo calls this guy something. I'll let you use your imagination. There was like 3 or 4 different things where he wasn't going to say anything that possibly towed the line.
Oh, like they had the they actually showed the tweet. I mean, no, it was Riley's mom.
You suck.
Riley Leonard text, you suck. He wouldn't say suck.
Yeah.
I was like, he's not going to say suck on the air?
I know.
You see it. I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I do think it's a weird thing he and his mom have going.
Living in fear for your job. And that's what I took out of that with Dave Pasch.
Who's really good at what he does.
He is,
I think Pasch is terrific.
But be yourself.
But he wants to keep the college gig because he's got to watch Cardinal football on the weekends. Right?
Yeah.
Arizona Cardinals.
Hey, he won't see a game as good as he did last night all season long with
is
the
he
Cardinals.
the voice of the Cardinals?
He is, radio voice of the Cardinals.
Ouch.
Yeah, so he leaves his football game every Saturday. Yeah, our boy Luke's a good moment there before the rush onto the field. I wanted to, we were just taking knees. I wanted to interview some of the students before they ran out.
I think he wanted to get the kid in the cowboy hat because he pointed him out. Yeah.
Little dangerous interviewing those students.
They're lubed up. Yeah,
it is. But then the old the field, the wireless mic. Forrester, I don't want to get too technical here, too inside baseball. But the on-field camera guy with Luke's did not make it over with him. It got lost, and his wireless mic was breaking up, which I think probably was connected to that camera guy. They probably were they got separated. He couldn't find each other, and that's why we kept losing Luke's microphones. That's my guess.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty good guess. Those things don't have the greatest.
They weren't.
range
They weren't great until you got 70,000 people right around you. Like pregame, they could walk all over campus and that thing works. You let the stadium get full, and it's got all kinds of issues.
I used to hold Big Darrell's belt buckle, and when we were in a field situation like that, I'd grab him by the belt buckle, and he ran, I ran, and many times I'd run into him, but he was about 150 pounds bigger than me, and that way I wouldn't lose him. And wherever he went, I went. And when he needed me to hold that microphone, I was right there.
I hated it too because I think Luke was doing a good interview, and Elko was so fired up. I wanted to hear what he was able to say. Nothing Luke can do about it. We do tape a ball with Tom Luganbill coming up after the show, so that'll be out at Disrupt the Media on what?
I hate that team's trainer.
At Disrupt the Media on YouTube, so you can catch that.
Got a high ankle sprain. Nope, we're taping balls today.
We're taping ball with Luganbill coming up a little bit later on, so we'll talk a lot about that game last night with him.
All right. Clay Travis is our next guest, then Brandon Marcello. Right before Trash, you'll meet our 13th employee up here. Our friends at Wayne's want to celebrate 50 years. We celebrate everything up here. We have anniversaries for our first show, anniversaries for our 500th show, and everyone in between that, to anniversaries of departures and arrivals and this and that. Wayne's is celebrating 50 years of doing it exactly right as a pest control world-class leader. And Wayne wants to continue serving you guys, doing the thing they love, providing world-class pest control and termite protection to all of you. And just to say thank you, they're offering you $50 off pest control or termite protection. All you have to do is go to the website, callwaynes.com, callwaynes.com. Termite protection, pest control, lawn care, mosquito services, you get it all. Callwaynes.com, callwaynes.com. More football with Clay when we come back on your home for football. It's the Next Round.
Follow the Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Football season is here, and Legacy Credit Card is just what you need to manage your spending safely and wisely. Credit cards offer better consumer protection against fraud when compared to a debit card, which is linked directly to your bank account. Legacy offers rates as low as 8.9% APR on credit cards compared to major card providers who advertise rates as high as 29% APR. Look no further than Legacy. Open a credit card online in minutes at legacycreditunion.com/join. APR's annual percentage rate, rates, and offers subject to change. See website for details. Federally insured by NCUA.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
You have all heard of Red Wing Shoes, but what is Red Wing Shoes? It's the place where men buy boots, plain and simple. Who are Red Wing's customers? They are construction workers, warehouse employees, college students, the guy that fixes your AC, the guy at the end of the bar, the IT guy. Red Wing is a father, Red Wing is a son, Red Wing is a cult following shared by all men. A classic, comfortable pair of cool boots with a story to tell. What's your Red Wing story? Red Wing Shoe Stores, located in Pelham and Trussville.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemphill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention the Next Round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemphill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemphill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemphill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090. hemphillservices.com. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Want more of the Next Round? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Clay Travis in this segment, upset alert in the next segment, Brandon Marcello later on. It'll be the first time Brandon's been on with us without me getting a tattoo in a long, long time.
He was on Tattoo Day.
He was on with us Tattoo Day.
That's right.
Last time he's been with us. A couple of notes from our friends at Legacy, legacycreditunion.com to keep in mind. When you look at Texas State, if you were sleeping on them over the weekend, they upset Baylor. TJ Finley, 22 of 30, 298 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions for Texas State, who had 51 portal guys themselves and a new head coach, and they went out there and pulled a major upset over Baylor.
And get UTSA this week.
That's right.
That's an interesting game.
And Frank Harris does not look healthy.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. I mean, again, 3 picks from Frank Harris, uncharacteristic. Now Blake Shapen is going to be out the next 2 to 3 weeks for Baylor, so that's not good. Tricky game for Utah, though.
Yeah. Tricky game for Utah as they play at Baylor. Our friends at Legacy, it's a holiday season just around the corner, right? Affordable low rates with manageable payback plans. If you need extra cash handy, look no further than Legacy Credit Union for whatever loan your lifestyle requires. It only takes a few minutes to apply and request the amount you need to give you peace of mind. Apply online today at legacycreditunion.com/join, legacycreditunion.com/join, federally insured by the NCUA.
All right, Clay Travis is with us now. He's the founder of Outkick, at Clay Travis on Twitter. You also see him on Fox. He is with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. What is up, Clay? How are you today?
Doing well. How are y'all?
Doing awesome. Thanks a lot. I took a little grief on Twitter on Sunday night because I said if I were an Associated Press voter, which I was several years ago, I would have Florida State number 1 because I vote on what I have seen. I vote on what we see on the field. I'd have Florida State number 1. And then I watched your video last night. You vote the same way I vote. So I'm curious what you would do with Duke after last night, because a lot of people clap back like, oh, I guess with your system, Duke's in your top 10. And I'm like, why not? Because they got Duke on their helmet? So I should keep them out of my top 10? Why would I vote that way?
Yeah, I would vote them. They're in my top 10. I think I have them in number 2.
Who, Duke?
Duke? Oh, my God, how dare you? And I've been doing this for over a decade. If you believe, as I do, that preseason polls are worthless, by which I mean they're fun to talk about, but they shouldn't have a staying power. We shouldn't say because we thought this team was good in August, that means in mid-October, if they've been mediocre, they still deserve to be a top 25 team. I think what everybody should do is get used to the fact that in September there can be wide variance and substantial changes in terms of our expectations about teams. So I think you should only rank teams based on what you've seen them actually do on the field.
I agree.
And if that means that Duke is a top 10 team in the second week of the season, why does that upset people?
I don't know.
And then if they lose, they're not a top 10
I know, that's what people don't understand.
But personally, I just think it's a dumbass way of doing things.
Why? But to vote on what you've seen on the field?
Yeah,
that's the only sensible way to do it.
Georgia is a team that was playing an unlike opponent.
Okay.
I'm okay with putting Duke very high, but you're going to put Duke ahead of Georgia or Michigan?
What has Georgia done to justify being in front of Duke?
They've won 2 back-to-back national championships.
But see, Clay and I don't vote that way.
Yeah, well, it's my opinion. I just think it's a dumbass way of doing things.
Okay.
But why would that upset you?
So you would have TCU number 2 before they lost to Colorado?
No.
Well, TCU finished second last year.
But I also take into account of what people lost as well, Brownie. I can do that, and I have no problem dropping, say, Ohio State for a sluggish performance.
You should. Ohio State looked awful.
Or moving. I mean, if you had Florida State number 2, which I think I said is where I would have them at number 2, but I don't think I would have them at number 1. And Duke, I'd have them probably around 11 or 12.
All ranking systems have flaws, and I think to the credit of the College Football Playoff Committee, that's why they don't release their first rankings until around Halloween.
Yeah, but then they end up looking just like the polls do. So I don't know that it changes anything.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But I think that a lot of times people, what you're really ranking teams on is your expectation of where they rank. Early in September, which to me, why not just go ahead every week and put out a poll that rewards? I think it's also good, honestly, because it rewards sometimes teams that are not used to being highly ranked. And so I think the 4 biggest wins, in my opinion, there's probably 5 that you could put in there. And I think I have a poll up. I'm not sure what the latest numbers reflect, but I think Colorado over TCU, Duke over Clemson, LSU getting smoked by Florida State, and I would say Utah over Florida, but I think you could also say North Carolina over South Carolina were probably the 5 best wins of Week 1 in college football.
But to y'all's point, just to y'all's point, they're the best wins because of our preseason perception of what we think Clemson is. Clemson may suck. TCU may suck.
They may.
And here's the way I handle that. And I do think there is some built-in analysis there. But the way that I would break it down is if you beat a Power 5 conference team in Week 1, first of all, there aren't very many of those. Right, victories in Week 1 where somebody beat a Power 5 conference team or won a road neutral game over a Power 5 conference team. I think in general, it's fair to say Power 5 conference teams are better than non-Power Power 5 conference teams. And so over time, if you beat a Power 5 conference team, those are going to stand as pretty decent victories. So that's the way that I would assess in Week 1. As a general rule. Now, there are certainly exceptions to that rule, but in general, the top 50 or 60 teams are overwhelmingly made up of Power 5 conference.
I think the most shocking results this weekend for most people, Colorado winning outright, and then Duke winning by 21 as 12.5-point underdogs. If I ask you, if you're an AD of a Power 5 big-time program that needs a coach, and you have an opportunity to hire Mike Elko or Deion Sanders, which direction would you go?
I think both those guys have done well. First of all, Deion is, let's see what happens against Nebraska. And then I think the bloom can come off the Colorado Rose really quick because, and I think I'm correct in this, they go to Nebraska, then they've got Colorado State, and then it's either Oregon, USC, or USC, Oregon.
It's Oregon, USC.
It would not be, it would not be surprising at all if they are sitting at 2 and 3, at the end of September or nearly halfway through the season. And I think Colorado is a way better job than Duke is. Now, Colorado may have been in rougher shape, but I think Deion's going to recruit really well. And I think Colorado is just a way better job than Duke. So I think you try to have to factor in to what extent could Elko have more success at a bigger and better, more traditional football school. But so I think it's hard to compare the two guys because, again, I think Colorado is a way better job, and I don't know what the percentages would be, but Elko, for instance, at Duke, what percentage of his kids do you think could get in to the big football powerhouses, the Ohio States, Alabamas? What percentage of the Ohio State, Alabama recruits could get into Duke? Maybe it's a higher percentage than I think, but historically, Duke, Stanford, Vanderbilt, Northwestern, those schools have a totally different admissions group than other schools. And so you're not only competing for elite football talent, it has to be elite football talent with the ability to do really high-level academic work. They don't let everybody in those schools. So I think for Elko, comparing, let's say, the student body at Clemson with the student body at Duke, the fact that he could go out and beat Clemson by 21 is pretty incredible. So to me, that win stands out more than Colorado beating TCU.
Yeah, and the fact that there were more blue in the stadium, maybe by a little, but more blue in the stadium than orange.
They were fired up.
Yeah,
that was a great environment in Durham, and I don't remember seeing that very often ever in the history of Duke football. So he's done a good job of going out and sort of rallying the student body and the fan base in general to the idea of Duke football. And I'm sure you guys enjoyed the highlights of Spurrier with the last big win that over back in 1989.
Yeah. 34 years ago. I wanted to ask you, though, because here's the interesting thing that I think will be fascinating about Deion Sanders over the next couple of years, however long he's at Colorado or coaching, because you saw this from Travis Etienne, who said, I just texted my little bro. He tweeted this. I just texted my little bro, and, maybe he should play for Coach Prime next year instead of Florida. And with the transfer portal and with Deion Sanders, I think, he may not have to recruit a single high school player if he doesn't want to. I mean, he will be a portal king if he wants to, picking and choosing the best players who may want to choose and go play for him. I think that's where Deion Sanders in Colorado or wherever Deion Sanders chooses to coach can become really powerful with the way it's set up right now.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think you can flip a team in a hurry. I also think you have to be careful, though, because the somebody is going to bring in a bunch of guys, and they're not going to buy in, and because they're not getting the playing time they thought, and I can see that situation going toxic and turning really, really bad. I don't know where it's going to happen, but I can foresee a situation where guys get brought in, they're being made promises about two things, playing time and money, and both things don't materialize, and that can turn messy really quick. So we've already seen this kind of play out at Florida, where at least the public story was that I believe it was Jaden Rashada, that he was promised a certain amount of money, and he wasn't getting it, and so he ended up at Arizona State, and that was a kind of a black eye for Florida. So I wonder to what extent some of these promises are going to create problems both for playing time and for money, because some of this money's just not going to materialize, I don't think, and that becomes an issue.
I said if you get 85% of what you got from Hendon Hooker last year out of Joe Milton, Tennessee's going to be just fine. That's about what I think I saw against Virginia. How did you think Joe Milton played?
I thought Tennessee wasn't that great on offense, and they scored 49 points, which is, I think, a testament to Josh Heupel in general. Tennessee's defense, I believe, is a lot better, and that's where you're starting to see some of the talent really get stacked in a significant way. Tennessee's got some real playmakers that are young on the defensive side of the ball, which they haven't had for a while. I thought Tennessee played really well defensively. They've got a big-time playmaker at punt return that I think is going to have 2 or 3 or 4 punt return touchdowns, and when you've got the offense that they do. And really, it's just going to be how comfortable can Joe Milton be. Josh Heupel is going to have guys open. I don't know if you watched. He had Milton throw the ball like 80 yards in the air, and he dropped an absolute dime, I think, in the first quarter on one of his receivers, just totally dropped the ball. If he catches that, strolls in, Milton has, 3 touchdowns, throws for 300 yards, and rushes for 2. But to me, this Tennessee season, in many ways, is going to be defined by what happens at the Florida game. I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Tennessee should beat Florida, and I think they should beat Florida comfortably. If they do that, then I think Tennessee will be 5-0 with Texas A&M coming to town, and the season will be defined by A&M at Bama and then at Kentucky. That little 3 trio is a tough series there. If Tennessee can go 2-1 in those 3, if I'm right, and they start off 5-0, what would be the ideal scenario, I think, is Tennessee's 9-1 with Georgia coming to town on November 18th, basically to decide who wins the SEC East. And you get Georgia in Knoxville, which is really Georgia's only tough, I would say, only really tough game on the season. And you like to say, hey, can we have a puncher's chance against Georgia to win the SEC East in Knoxville on November 18th? That's going to be a big game either way. But if Tennessee could be 9-1, or, if they could be 8-2 and Georgia lost to somebody else, but I don't think Georgia's going to lose. So if you want that game to potentially be for the SEC East, Tennessee needs to be 9-1, when Georgia comes to town on the 18th. And I think they can be.
All right, he is Clay Travis, Outkick, and at Clay Travis on Twitter is where you follow him there. Clay, thank you very much for the time. Have a great week.
Appreciate you all. Thanks a lot.
All right, buddy, you too. Clay with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. He brought Georgia up. I want to make a quick Georgia point in a moment, but I also want to remind you that if you're tired of your outdated bathroom, your outdated kitchen, great people to take care of that for you. A-plus Tile Home Remodeling. My man, Brad Bell. So if you're watching this video, seeing photos of our master bath. It's not terrible. It's just not what my wife and I wanted. So she scoured the internet looking for the best contractors. She talked to people that he'd use certain contractors, talked to the contractors themselves, got a few guys out to do a bid. Brad was the best bid, the guy we felt most comfortable with, and I am so glad we picked him. You see the after photos now. It looks great. It's exactly what we wanted. It was so bright and white, we wanted the darker colors, and we gave that vision to Brad. He didn't try to talk us into anything. He said, that's your vision. I'm going to pull it off, and boy, did he. His crews worked cleanly, quickly. They were efficient. They were on time. It's hard to believe I have to point that out, but I do. If you've ever dealt with some crews, these guys were on time. They did such great work that Lance was like, man, I'd like him to do my master bath. Just the opposite for Lance. He had the darker colors, wanted to go lighter, and you see some before and afters there. Brad did that work too. He does bathrooms. He does master baths. He does the kitchen, and that's where you get your money back. Master bath and kitchen, master bath and kitchen. When you sell your house, call Brad Bell. Here's the number anywhere in Alabama, 205-422-1758. That's 205-422-1758. And if you miss any of that, reach out to me on Twitter or Instagram or email, Lance too. We'll get you in touch with my guy, Brad Bell. Clay mentioned Georgia. And we look at this week's schedule, and the SEC took it on the chin last week. And we got Bama, Texas. You got Auburn, Cal. You got State, Arizona. What else we got? There's another good one. Ole Miss, Tulane, Texas A&M, Miami. We got some conference versus conference. Don't forget, this would have been the week we'd have had Oklahoma at Georgia.
Yes.
Had that not changed. And if everything else had played out, that's a much more interesting game after Georgia put 73 on Arkansas State.
And it would be one of those weekends at ESPN, statement weekend for the SEC, or statement weekend question mark for the SEC after what happened last week. 100%.
How cool would it be if we had Oklahoma and Georgia this week?
This also becomes the final week where Brown can bring up that, they're supposed to have Oklahoma in their schedule. It's been about 300 days of that.
They were supposed to. It was supposed to be this week.
In all fairness, I mean, it's been absolutely fair. Well, one thing that, and some of you don't join us on Labor Day, we understand that. We're always live on Labor Day. Since we started the show, we have worked on Labor Day except during the pandemic, where we didn't have football that weekend. So that was the only Labor Day we did not work.
I'd forgotten that. We got that day off, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. But we don't like pandemics. We like working on Labor Day because of football.
I'll take it.
Put that on a t-shirt. Yeah. We don't like pandemics.
Nobody agrees on everything 100%. Do you think there is one person out there that enjoys pandemics?
No, but there, as Brown has pointed out, and I will point out too, there were some redeeming moments during that moment in history. That I will treasure forever.
Oh, there's no doubt. Yeah,
a lot actually.
Yeah, there's some things that came out of it that work for us.
But I vote no more pandemics.
Yeah, no more pandemics. All for that. But dating back to the pandemic, there's a streak that washed over me. But as I think back now, it makes all sense. LSU lost to Florida State to start this season. Last year they lost to Florida State to start the season. Before that, those soft light blue uniforms at UCLA beat LSU to start the season
out of the Rose Bowl.
And in the pandemic, the Pirates' first game, Mississippi State smoked LSU. LSU's lost 4 straight season openers since winning the national championship.
It's hard to believe. You remember there was a day where your opener was, and for a lot of teams still, was an absolute cakewalk.
No, you're absolutely right. You used to do the Western Carolinas of the world.
Yeah, the Middle Tennessee State.
I'll give them credit. That was a conference game. UCLA, Florida State. I mean, they have not played down.
No,
week one,
and I appreciate that. I hope that's where we're heading. Tripp, who I don't know if he actually bets on all this stuff, but he always has great gambling information. He says his sneak peek ahead now is Clemson is +3 versus Florida State on the look-ahead line after last night. 1
week, but my gosh, that looks like easy money.
Yeah. I mean, in a neutral setting.
It looks like easy money for Florida State.
I mean, it's a different caliber of athlete.
It looked at last night. 100%. You take Florida State, what you saw Sunday night, you take Clemson, what you saw Monday night, smash those two together, and you get a big Florida State win, don't you?
2 weeks we'll be talking about that game because it'll be game week, and that game's in Death Valley, so I think it'll be a little bit different. That number's probably about right. I think Florida State will be probably -1, 2, or 3. And you know how these things work.
As the new Clemson cheer goes, it's CLEMS. Oh, no.
Yeah. Do you like the way Clemson's schedule sets up before Florida State? They've only got Charleston Southern and FAU.
No.
Would you prefer have a tougher game just to see if we've gotten everything fixed?
I would.
I think I would too. I mean, they got 2 layup games. I don't know if we're going to get a real test.
Right now, all I need to work on is Klubnik's accuracy, handing the ball off to Shipley,
awareness,
and the kicker getting the ball above the above 7 feet, 8 feet, getting up high. Quick break here. Upset alert coming up in the next segment. Show being brought to you by our friends at Way to Wellness. Way to Wellness. You can Google them. Way to Wellness, right here in Vestavia, right near our offices. Leslie and her board-certified team will take care of you. Or you can go to their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. Why Way to Wellness, you say? Well, first of all, if you want to jumpstart your weight loss, great place. It's in the name, Way to Wellness. But the wellness part I want to emphasize for you right here. Your blood pressure, your cholesterol, those numbers can get out of whack as you get a little bit older. Way to Wellness, when you're in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, good way to keep those blood pressure and cholesterol numbers in a good place is to eat better, and that's what Leslie and her board-certified team can do. No contract, no sign-up fee, and your first consultation is absolutely free. Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living, and planforme.com is the website. When we come back, Upset Alert, Brandon Marcello at the top of the hour. It's a hot Tuesday show right here on The Next Round.
Follow LT on Twitter @TheLanceTaylor.
It's time to get out and enjoy the summer of 2023. Ocean City, Maryland, and your hotel family at Residence Inn by Marriott Ocean City is ready to welcome you. Kayak from our Bayside Beach, swim in the Atlantic, dine at our Bayview Bar and Grill, span the 2.5-mile-long Ocean City Boardwalk, and a lot more. See all this plus irresistible summer deals and packages online at residenceinnoc.com. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook. Do something different this summer. Residence Inn by Marriott Ocean City, Maryland.
The next round is brought to you in part by the biggest, baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Super Speedway. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and always puts on a great show for the fans. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming and you do not want to miss it. Saturday, September 30th is the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, followed by Sunday's Yellowwood 500 in the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs. Be there to see drivers battle 500 miles to survive. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick, the type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera, and the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
Don't miss your chance to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Open 24/7, so come on in for non-stop gaming action. You'll find the latest, hottest, most exciting games around. And you'll love the fun bonuses and big jackpots. Plus, you can watch and wager on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. Your best bet for big wins is just minutes away at Birmingham Racecourse Casino, where you can be a winner too. Birmingham Racecourse Casino off I-459, exit 31 Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, brombergs.com.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Before we get to JD on the phones, 205-734-0923, 734-0923. Tell us about our friends at Milo's, my friend.
I see that hat you got on there, Dunaway.
Oh, yeah. Everybody goes there, Jimmy D.
Yeah, I was delivering a little Milo's earlier this morning.
Do you like the extra piece of meat and the pickles on top?
Who would not like that?
My favorite order is the number 4 combo. I love to go by there and get the double with cheese, extra sauce on the side, biggie fries, and a delicious Diet Coke.
You know,
I love their Milo's tea, but I always go Diet Coke.
Interesting.
So my ex-wife Bethany, she did not like meat. She just didn't like the texture. But she loved Milo's.
God, anytime you say that, I almost go straight 90s rock with a one-hit wonder. She didn't like meat, but she finished the lyric. Beep, beep, beep. No, don't say it.
So anyway, my point was going to be, she loved their unsweet tea with the crushed ice. She loved their toasted cheese, and she would get 3 sauces to go in the fries. So she had like a go-to order without even getting the burger. But if Milo's Classic Burger wasn't enough, if you download the Milo's app after your first purchase, you get the original cheeseburger absolutely free. Stuff your face, earn free stuff, download the Milo's app today, and start earning rewards.
Your lovely first wife, Bethany.
Yep.
She helped me with a hangover one time, and it involved Milo's fries. Just basically, I think it was 4 or 5 large orders with just a bag of Milo's fries. I was come over to watch a game with you. I forget what. May have been AFC, NFC championship weekend. And she answered the phone. You didn't. surprising. And and I was like, hey, any tips? And she's like, for me, potatoes work. Just go by and just tell them to fill up a bag of Milos and pay whatever it is and just sit there and eat those fries. And they got me over to watch the AFC NFC Championship.
There you go.
There you go. All right, so here we go. JD is next with us. Rockstar, if you'll punch JD on line 1 for me. Thank you, JD. How are you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm great. Good morning, guys. I did not know that y'all were working yesterday. I should have known better because you guys are the hardest working folks on the radio, and I always appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
Well,
we enjoy working.
It's awesome when you have a job that doesn't feel like work, right?
Right.
That is true.
I mean,
never had one.
We had employee 13 up here last night. We were doing a fantasy draft, drinking beer, and I was like, it was first day for the employee, and I was like, not a bad first day, right?
First day on the job.
Well, it's not like you guys are out having to, put up telephone poles or dig ditches on your what would normally be an off day. So that's what I'm saying. But anyway, that's great. Listen, maybe I overreacted to what Brown put on Twitter last night. I've been saying all summer that I just didn't buy LSU for the reasons that I've always posted. I mean, Jaden Daniels is a great player, but he's only 43rd rated quarterback last year. I mean, his greatest attribute is that he can run the ball, and you saw that. I mean, when he got loose, he was very dangerous. He's a pretty good passer, but then also the Perkins. Where was he?
He was all over the field, but he was doing everything but rushing the passer. And that was the problem. He was all over the field.
And JD, the people that break down the stats afterwards, and I saw Brandon Marcello, who joins us at the top of the hour, tweet this, but it was somebody else's work. He was retweeting somebody. He was in pass coverage. What was the number, Brown? 25 times?
I think it was 25. He rushed the passer 7 times.
He only rushed the passer. He only rushed the passer 7 times. And how many times did Florida State pass? He rushed them 7 times.
We'll see adjustments on that.
Yeah, you got to.
They have to. They have to do that, But they probably a lot of that last year too, because when I was looking at his numbers, he was only like the 4th leading tackler on their team, and I'm thinking probably because he wasn't put in positions to make all those plays. If they don't change that, they're going to lose some more games this year. I really believe this, though, and I know I'm an Alabama fan, so you can take it for a grain of salt, but I just think Alabama's probably the only team that in the preseason that you can really seriously give them the benefit of the doubt because of what Nick Saban has done over the last 15 years, regardless of who the quarterback is, regardless of who the coordinators are. The fact that you have Nick Saban and what he's done, I just got to give him the benefit of the doubt until he proves me wrong, and so far he hasn't.
Yeah, I do that with Georgia now, and I do that with Ohio State now. And after that,
and used to with Clemson. Used to be with Clemson.
Used to be. Not on this Tuesday morning, JD.
No.
Thank you, JD.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't know how much longer I give it to Ohio State. They got to keep earning it, and they're not earning it right now.
Were they a one-loss team until they lost to Georgia 42-41 last year?
Yeah, they haven't beaten Michigan 2 straight years. Haven't won the Big Ten 2 straight years. And I watched them play Saturday. I'm not sure they deserve the benefit of the doubt.
This is the worst quarterback situation they've had in a long time.
Yeah, but I would say instead of kicking Ohio State out, maybe it's time to put Michigan in.
Well, I would give Michigan the benefit of the doubt right now before I would Ohio State.
I think
that
Michigan,
was my point.
again, wins the national championship now.
Yeah, now. Because it was LSU for you.
We'll see.
Hey, it got to shift, right? I mean,
New Life Art brings us Rockstar's viewing menu, and then we'll do Upset Alert and Brown Bandit.
Yeah, he's here.
He's in the
That's
building.
Early, in the
Brown
building.
Bandit is in the building. Yes.
Daniel Moore has announced that Masterwork in Oils legacy continues. You see it right there on your monitor. This sequel to Moore's 1992 sold-out painting, Crimson Legacy, features iconic moments and memorabilia from the last 30 seasons of Tide football. Don't miss your opportunity to own this lasting tribute, sure to be cherished by Bama fans for years to come. You can order right now, DanielMooreArt.com. That's DanielMooreArt.com.
8 p.m. on Vice, you got a new episode of Dark Side of the 2000s. Tonight's feature is Men's Magazine's The Maxim Effect.
Yeah, I will tell you, that is a really good show. I don't know if you guys have watched any.
I have not.
The Dark Side of Wrestling. I've seen the Dark Side of the 80s. Dark Side of different clubs in Hollywood. I mean, it's a good show. It's well done.
So this is Maximum Magazine?
Maxim.
I was a subscriber.
I was a stuff guy.
So, so there was a dark side to this because what I
think
loved
it was
about
the exploitation of women and everything.
I
like
mean,
that.
very attractive women on the
Yeah.
cover: Olivia Munn and Jennifer Love Hewitt. Maybe my two favorite Maxim cover girls.
I liked Aguilera back in the day.
But I also enjoyed. I know this is cliche. It had some interesting stories.
You read the articles, right?
But
Yeah.
it also had for a guy who's not as well put together as Lance.
Oh wow!
Like it had fashion tips.
It gave guys like us hope.
Watches,
Yeah.
things like that. I mean, it was the best watches, the best credit card.
No,
to
the
get,
the
at
articles,
time.
I know this sounds Playboyish, but I'll never forget before Training Day came out with Denzel Washington, that was loosely based on a true story. And I remember reading about the corrupt cop that got on the other side of the Russian mob in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I mean, they had great stories
I
in
did
there.
too. I loved that magazine and went to pick one up when we were traveling somewhere, not to Ocean City. Where did we fly before Ocean City? Last time we flew together somewhere. It was I can't remember now. But I went to the little shop in the airport, and I was going to pick one up, the Maxim. Oh, it was when I was going.
This Maxim's only $15. Hell yeah!
Yeah, but it was only 15 pages, and I was like, "Well, I'm not buying this."
Yeah, the old print industry's kind of falling apart a little bit.
I mean, it wasn't thick anymore.
And then finally, 1035 on TMC. I just saw the description. I had to read it. It's a good movie called Ape vs. Monster. An ape who has become lost in the vast expanse of space ends up crash landing on Earth. It happens. This emits an unusual sludge and forces him and a gigantic scorpion monster into an all-out battle for dominance, starring Eric Roberts.
Julia's younger brother.
You think Julia
Or is
gets
it older
jealous?
brother?
Older brother.
Older brother? Yeah, less famous brother is what I should have said.
So that's good. That's it. And then you got Romancing the Stone tonight with Cartagena, Joan Wilder.
Yeah, it's
a good Danny DeVito. Great. It's a good little film.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I really wanted. There's a slide scene in the jungle.
Where he lands.
Yeah, but the whole sliding thing, I was like, oh, that would be fun to slip and have that big of a fun slide through the jungle.
Yeah, it really wouldn't be.
I think it would.
Yeah, it's probably an anaconda at the other end waiting on you.
All right, that's what Rockstar is watching. It is time for our upset alert today before Rockstar hits the big button. Our matchup today being brought to you by the Pants Store, your game day headquarters. Alabama and Auburn game day polos, hats, and quarter zips. Choose from famous name brands like Gentile, Cutter and Buck, Antigua, Elephant Head, and Taylor and Mick. And ladies, no further. You don't have to look anywhere else. Don't look any further, it says. For your game day needs, they've got the skirts, they've got the rompers, they've got the clear bags, they got the booties too. It's all right there at the Pants Store. Their game day locations for you. You can find them at pantsstore.com or 6 great locations: Auburn, Crestline, Hoover, Huntsville, Leeds, and Tuscaloosa. Rockstar, hit it.
The College Football Spotlight.
Sound the alarm. College football's upset alert.
Currently, LT is in the lead. We just don't know by how many points.
Well, so Bobby brought this up in the chat room, and I think this is the way I thought we were doing this. We've got the old scoring system in place, but if you have to reward you for a big underdog, you get those points on top of it if they win the game outright.
So it's 0 if your team doesn't cover. It's 1 if they cover.
It's 3 if they cover for 6.5 or more. You get the points if they win outright. So Lance should be 3 points.
So Lance should be 3.
Right.
And you and I are 0.
That is correct.
Okay, we'll go with that. I think that's what we decided last year. Thank you, Bobby, for remembering that. I will start us off with 0 points. Brown Bandit will slide in here dead last. Lance will go second. Last week I gave you Boise State. It was not even close. This week, rivalry game in week 2. One coach is trying to score 325 points.
I thought it would work for me in the pick 3 last week, by the way.
He is now going to play a rival who everyone has forgotten. Lost in the cornfields is Matt Campbell is a good coach. Matt Campbell getting 4.5 points at home. Give me Iowa State plus the 4.5.
How long did it take?
Oh, hey, he was here at like 6 this morning.
Yeah.
I got a text. I was working out this morning. I get a text. Hey, you guys going to take either one of these?
Yeah. 6:30 in the morning. I'm like, no, Jim, I'm good.
Yeah. By the way,
I didn't even respond.
That's a great logo, though.
Does not look great up close, but
Yeah.
every time on the view on the TV on the monitor,
No, that's good.
It looks a lot better. Like
you
last
get-
week's Boise did not look as good,
Yeah.
but 2 weeks in a row, I think I'm the most improved artist on this show.
I don't disagree. Did you get Scott to punch it up when he got here just so you could see what it looked like on camera?
No. I'd like it to be a surprise for the
All right.
folks in back.
Okay.
Just in case.
Thank you for that.
That's 2 weeks for me. The biggest problem I have in life is I rarely can do things 2 weeks in a row.
Right.
I've done that 2 weeks in a row.
Congrats.
I may be stick figures next week, but
That's
that's 2 weeks.
I think the fun thing is you and I drawing these things in break. I don't know if you drew yours in break. I just drew
I
mine
came
in
in here
break.
pregame. Mine's a little complicated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. LT, you're next.
You're the leader,
So
Lance.
I've actually
Lead
talked
us.
this game up the entire summer, and I am going to Lubbock. I know they're coming off a bad loss.
You're not scared off? You're not
I'm not scared off.
Guns
Tyler
up.
Shuck has got something to prove against his former team. Now, the only disturbing thing is they get up 17-0, and it's almost like Joey McGuire, who's a really good coach, was like, you know what? We're going to take the pedal off. We're going to get ready for Oregon next week. And they forgot. We're playing an altitude game. They got worn down. They lose in double overtime. Bad loss. We did have Wyoming plus points. LancesLock.com. Jump on board. All your winners right now at LancesLock.com. But I do believe Texas Tech will bounce back. Everybody's talking about these 81 points that Oregon scores. Texas Tech, tough place to play. Night game. I like the Red Raiders. Got to run the football a little bit. Tyler Shuck has a big night.
Oh, man. Best quarterback in that game?
Bo Nix.
Bo Nix, yeah.
Just wanted to hear you say it.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know where he is.
Oh, the Brown Bandit's here.
The Brown Bandit's here.
Yeah.
Take it away.
So I'm going to try not to get emotional with this. But last week was a very difficult week for me as the Brown Bandit. I'd had such a good year last year. It was incredible. It was the talk of Vegas. And yeah, I came back really proud. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I did my pick last week in a sombrero. I don't know.
I did not notice.
Did you pick up on that?
No.
Did you?
Yeah, I did, because I had been doing a victory lap for 8 months over my last year, and I'd been living on the beaches of Mexico.
That's why it's hard to repeat. Back-to-back
It is.
champions are rare.
Yeah, and you know what? I am going to confess to you, the audience that depends so heavily on my massive upsets, I had not done my homework last week. I picked North Texas. North Texas was playing California, and I told Rockstar I did not need any points. North Texas was going to win the game outright. They lost by 37. So I was not particularly close last week. And I think that shows you how bad it was that I just coasted this offseason. And I thought because I did so well last year that it was going to carry over to this year. So you know who I realized I was? You know who I realized I was last Saturday?
I think I have a guess.
You think so? I was TCU.
Yeah, you were TCU
I was
football.
TCU football last Saturday. I thought just because I played for the championship last year, I was guaranteed to do it again.
Nothing's given.
Nothing is given. California was my Colorado.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Slothfulness was my Travis Hunter. Lack of preparation was my Shedeur Sanders. And pride was my Deion Sanders. And I have spent this week scouring the lines to find the right one for you, and I have found it.
What's in the box?
I have found it. Wisconsin. Excellent reference right there by you, Dunaway.
Thank you.
Wisconsin, who is coming off a win over Buffalo where they were not impressive, is going on the road to Wazoo, to the Palouse, to play the Cougars of Washington State. If you look at the leading passers in the nation, do you know who number 2 is?
Cam Ward.
Cameron Ward. Such a good passer that I selected him as my quarterback in the longest college football fantasy draft I've ever endured last night.
Almost missed the kick of the game.
And your only fantasy football draft you've ever endured.
Do you
right?
know what our college football fantasy draft didn't do? They didn't keep the clock running on first downs.
No.
We did not shorten anything. I felt like
when Taylor took 45 minutes for the first round pick.
I thought, are we ever going to leave this building? Am I captive?
And then took Robbie Ashford in the 3rd or 4th round.
4th round, Robbie Ashford from Taylor.
My gosh. At some point, I thought during our college fantasy draft right now, Dunaway was going to say, guys, we're halfway through the college football season already. He didn't, thank God. And we somehow got done.
I felt like we were closer to me saying, guys, it's been a good run.
Yes.
I've reached retirement age.
Woo! Boy, it was a long draft. So I took Cameron Ward because he torched the competition last week. He's going to do it again this week. Washington State. Wazoo. I had it upside down. Catching the 6.5. Pretty good logo. Pretty good logo. It's a complicated
I did
logo.
that logo on the fly last year.
Yeah.
Plus 6.5. Vegas is giving the second leading quarterback in the nation 6.5 points.
Hey, don't take this the wrong way.
Lance, I'm not done yet.
But okay.
Rockstar, 6.5
We don't need those points!
Rockstar, do we need them?
Say
Tell
it
me,
again.
Rockstar. Are you
I
a
can't do it
believer?
again. I was going to lose my voice.
Rockstar, are you a believer?
And what?
in Washington State. Are you a believer, Rockstar? Are you a believer? Are you a believer?
What are you talking about?
Rockstar, Washington State plus 6.5.
Next question. You must not be a believer.
Next question, because the answer is we don't need them! Washington State wins it outright. Go Washington State. Go Cougars. Wave that game day flag. Washington State wins it outright, Lance. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say Wisconsin will be on my board.
Hey, you know what? I don't care.
I know.
I don't care. I'm not looking for your approval.
I said this last year. Brown Bandit was incredible last year.
Yep, he was. And you doubted me every week, so I don't care. Every week,
this year is going to be a disaster.
Yeah, I don't know why you pull against me. I pull for Lance's you're sitting here doing it right now.
No,
all you do is point out the negative.
Wisconsin
Lance,
this week.
Washington State plus 6.5 wins the game outright. If you want to give a loser at Lance's, you go Wisconsin.
Okay.
I don't know if it scares you, but I like Washington State too.
I like this.
That is Upset Alert today, brought to you by our friends at the Pants Store, pantstore.com. When we come back, more college football, then Brandon Marcello brings a little sanity as we get Brown back in here and say goodbye for another week to the Brown Bandit on TNR.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
The next round brought to you by the biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, the Talladega Superspeedway. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming up. You don't want to miss it. The action kicks off Saturday, September 30th with the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, all leading up to the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs on Sunday, October the 1st. Be there to see these drivers battle for 500 miles to survive and advance to the next round of the playoffs. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Again, that is TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
As summer bids adieu, get ready to welcome the arrival of fall. But hey, it's not just football season making an entrance. In the world of pests, it's fall invader season. Hold on tight, because we got 4 major troublemakers stepping into the spotlight: box elder bugs, kudzu bugs, ladybugs, and stink bugs. These pests don't just knock, they barge in like they own the place. But fear not, dial up Wayne's Pest Control now, 865-588-6686, and show those fall invaders who's boss. Don't let pests crash your fall. Take charge today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com. There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 in Hoover with walk-ons.
DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Tell you what, getting ready for NASCAR coming back to Talladega. Brown, are you excited about NASCAR racing at Talladega?
Jim, I am so excited about it. I love the Talladega Superspeedway.
Do you love Hardy in concert?
I do like Hardy, especially that song he does with Lainey Wilson.
Yes.
Stay in the truck. She won't be there, though. Yeah. That's a good song.
Stay in the truck.
That's a good song.
I'm going to go shoot somebody between the eyes.
That's what he gets for roughing up Lainey Wilson.
So just stay in the truck.
That's right.
Lainey Wilson, love her. Hated the new Game Day song, but loved her. Loved her.
It was the same song.
It was the same song, just less edge.
Yeah.
A little bit more laid back. Not.
I thought Lainey went a little heavy on the country twang too. To be honest with you, that's but that
I wish they'd just let that song stay in the truck. I just wanted a whole new. If it's not Big and Rich, just want a new song, right? Big and Rich.
Just so
or a
start
new
from
song.
scratch, right? Yeah.
Hardy's in concert. Racing's happening. Talladega Super Speedway. Just go to TalladagaSuperspeedway.com to get tickets September 30th through October 1st. September 30th through October 1st. Hardy in concert. Always a good time. You get to get out of the truck in the infield, watch Hardy, and then watch the trucks race. Craftsman Truck race on September 30th. Their playoff race, then the playoff race for NASCAR October 1st. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. And before we get back to football, Kelsey and I were just talking out in the lobby. And Kelsey said, Jim, if I asked you a question, what is your favorite tequila to drink with the Brown Bandit? And I said, well, if you saw last week's Brown Bandit, he was in a sombrero.
That's right. Absolutely.
Said, my favorite tequila to drink with the Brown Bandit is the Dobel Diamante, the Maestro Dobel Diamante tequila, the official tequila of the next round.
Can we get beer? We don't have beer. We've got tequila. What's tequila?
I just like beer.
Maestro Dobel Diamante tequila is completely clear. It's the way I like my tequila. And I think the Brown Bandit was on a little too much of it last week. It's when I gave a bad pick.
A lot of hangover.
Here's what makes it completely clear. It's the first multi-age tequila using wood barrels that come from the Balkan region of Eastern Europe. That just sounds good.
It really does.
It's extensive research to come up with the actual barrel. The balance of that tequila is just so smooth. It's the most robust agave flavor enhanced throughout the wood there. It's just the best tequila. You got to try it to believe it. Maestro Dobel Diamante tequila. It's the only thing that Kelsey and I agree on. It's Maestro Dobel.
She loves the next round.
Diamante tequila. Appreciate them so much.
She loves the next round.
Brandon Marcello coming up at the top of the hour. Brown touched on this a little bit earlier. Crucial weekend for the SEC or not?
Well, I mean,
a crucial weekend for the SEC.
So Peter Burns and I discussed this on the Burnout, and it was a bad weekend for the Southeastern Conference. You got more conference versus conference. Ultimately, the SEC is established its dominance in the national championship race. Like, I don't think anybody looks at the SEC and says they can't win a championship. They've done it a lot. I mean, what is the net effect if the SEC loses a lot of these games? People may view it differently, but what does that matter to you?
People will stand up on the big noon kickoff pregame show and game day and say, "Oh, what about the SEC this year?"
They're going to do that, yeah.
And then what? Guess what happens?
What?
At the end of the year, some bully from the SEC is going to be in the playoffs, and it's going to look bad for them.
Yeah,
it's going to look bad for the other to all the people that said, "Oh, the SEC's down."
Yeah, it's just a feel-good moment for other college football fans. If you're a Big Ten fan, Pac-12, Big 12. ACC, you want to say, hey, look, the SEC, their time is over.
Yeah. I mean, that's what a lot of people want, but I really don't think that's got any sort of impact on anything, does it?
No, but let's look ahead to these games.
Okay.
And it's part of our 4 Downs today, brought to you by our friends at Slice. Tell us about 4 great locations, LT, and we'll jump into these games.
Yeah, my late friend Jeff Bajaya created the original Slice in Lakeview. His brothers continue the legacy. Chris and Jason, get in and see them. There's also a Vestavia location. There's one in Montevallo. There's one in Crestline Park. It's local pizza, local ingredients, fantastic stuff. We had it up here yesterday for the fantasy draft. We had the Hot Mama, which I took some of that home. We had the Spicy Hawaiian, which I took some of that home. We had the Super Cheese, which I took some of that home.
It's got a to-go order.
And we had the barbecue, which was destroyed before I ever got a chance to take some of it home. Yep. Fantastic pizza. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
Better chance of happening this weekend. Miami beating Texas A&M or Tulane beating Ole Miss?
That would be Tulane beating Ole Miss. I'm still not sold on this Ole Miss program. I know they ran the score up last week after giving up early touchdown to Mercer. Tulane apparently is going to be good again. I was really surprised with how they kind of walked South Alabama off the field. I'm just not buying Miami yet. I think Texas A&M is much improved. So I would say that it would be Ole Miss going down to Tulane.
Yeah, I think I'm with Lance here. I think this is a tough spot. I thought Tulane, I don't imagine you guys watched a ton of that game against South Saturday, but they look pretty good. I was expecting them to take a noticeable step backwards, and I didn't see that. Pratt still looked really good at quarterback. Willie Fritz is obviously a good football coach. I think Ole Miss ran up numbers against a much, much more inferior opponent. I thought Tulane was tested against South. I think that's a tougher game.
Second down.
Better chance of happening this weekend. Vandy, unbeaten Vandy, 2-0, upsetting Wake Forest, 10 a.m. kick on the ACC network. It's even earlier. Or Arizona beating Mississippi State in Starkville. Better chance of happening. Vandy winning on the road or Arizona winning on the road?
I am going to see Vandy winning on the road.
I like the way you think, my friend.
I don't like either one of these teams winning the game outright, but A.J. Swan, Will Shepard. I mean, they've got a couple of guys that can make some plays, and I don't know how good Wake is going to be this year.
Yeah, Vandy survived a little bit against Hawaii, but I tell you what, Hawaii is playing much improved football. So
Stanford a scare a little bit.
Hawaii has lost 2 games by a touchdown to Hawaii, and Stanford, to Vandy and Stanford. So I go back to that week 1 game and I say maybe I'm not as panicked about Vandy as I initially was. I think Vandy's got the better shot.
You know what's happening, don't
What's
you?
that, Jimmy D?
Hardy told me this one time that you're screaming, I don't need the points, is straining your vocal cords.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Third down.
Better chance of happening this weekend. California, some people call it Cal, beating Auburn, or Texas beating Alabama.
Cal beating Auburn. I mean, this number's going down. I think it's at 5.5 right now. Jay not running the football. It's a long West Coast trip for Auburn. And I just don't know what to expect from Auburn this year. I mean, Alabama, again, if they turn the football over, good chance they lose the game. But I feel better about Alabama in this spot than I do Auburn.
And one's road, one's home. And, boy, if you listen to Hugh Freeze talk yesterday, he's worried about just the mechanics of this road trip, how long they got to travel, how they're completely out of their schedule when they get there. And then they have to lay around in the hotel all day Saturday. He was worried about that when you heard him talk about it. I mean, he seemed super frustrated that they've even got to play this game. He had nothing to do with it, obviously.
Yeah. In fact, you do not expect to see them sign on for any game once Hugh gets there out west.
No,
he doesn't like changing time zones.
Yes, I would not expect that.
Yeah.
Fourth down.
Finally, Forrester, in this fourth down, it's a rare use of you on fourth down. Can you give me the list of celebrities that were watching Messi play at LAFC last night? This is the notable attendees included in the guest list last night to watch Messi. The question is, who's your favorite on the list? I'm going to hit some of the high notes here. Mookie Betts was there. James Harden was there. Liam Gallagher, that's one of the brothers from Oasis, right,
Lead singer of Oasis,
Selena Gomez was there. Connie Britton, the wife on Friday Night Lights, love her. LeBron James, I think he plays basketball. Clayton Kershaw was there. Prince Harry and Meghan were there last night. Leo DiCaprio was there last night. Tom Holland, he does something. Will Ferrell was there last night. Magic Johnson was there last night. Mario Lopez was there last night on the red carpet, I'm sure.
Got my answer.
Toby Maguire. Ed Norton was there last night. Jason Sudeikis was there last night. Ted Lasso himself. Owen Wilson was there. So was Caleb and Mario Williams of USC. They were there last night. Your favorite celebrity that was there last night?
Well, I've got a couple. I would go Magic Johnson, Mookie Betts, Clayton Kershaw, and Caleb Williams.
Yeah, so all your teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're wearing the fan gear. Brownie? Leo? Pay me like your French soccer players?
I'm going to say King Beach, comedian / content creator.
Oh, you went off the
I have no idea who
list.
that is. If you made me pick a real one, I don't really know. Owen Wilson, maybe? I kind of like him.
Do you really?
Yeah. Crazy. I would go Megan and Harry. That's awesome.
But they didn't really want to be noticed while they were there. They just want to disappear.
Under the radar.
One of the
came into a sedan.
Most obnoxious couples.
Lance, they would prefer you just ignore them. I don't know why you keep giving them attention.
That's our 4 downs today, brought to you by our great friends at Slice. We appreciate them so much. I don't know if you could tell, I did that on the fly. Did I pull that off?
Was fantastic.
Yeah, it was great.
That graphic you pulled up on the fly.
So somebody over in the chat room said the late Jeff Pajaya, they think it's his birthday today. So happy birthday to Jeff Pajaya.
Man.
If you knew Jeff, just a generous guy, created this great concept that is Slice. Get in, celebrate his life, celebrate your life, celebrate football season. 4 locations, local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
Okay, Brandon Marcello coming up in the next segment. We'll talk to him about all those big SEC games coming up this weekend. If you're wondering about the Quinn Ewers numbers last week, 19 of 32, 63 touchdowns against Rice. And I don't know if Quinn, if you're judging who looked better, Jalen Milroe or Quinn Ewers against lesser opponents, I don't know if it's a big advantage Quinn Ewers over Jalen or not. Maybe you think Jalen looked better. So the quarterback's coming into this big showdown in Tuscaloosa. did some good things, but they were not perfect last week, to say the least. We'll talk to Marcello about the big game in Tuscaloosa. I'll talk to you right now about Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. Get Greg on your roof for a free no-cost roof inspection. So many of our viewers have done it. Why not? A-plus rated with a Better Business Bureau. He's a local guy. You see Greg in our truck riding around. It's his truck, our logo. That's in your neighborhood likely at some point this summer and into the fall. 205-542-3531. 205-542-3531 for a free no-cost roof inspection. Or you can look him up on Facebook. Greg from Pell City on Facebook. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. Insurance companies trust this guy. You should too. It is Storm Restoration Roofing and our guy Greg from Pell City.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
It's NBA time, Birmingham, as we hoop it up with the New Orleans Pelicans and Houston Rockets, October 12th at Legacy Arena. Single game tickets are now available. Visit birminghamsquadron.com or call 205-719-0850 for more information or to buy tickets. And the game is packed with former local players like Herb Jones and Kyra Lewis Jr. and Jabari Smith, and other superstars like Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson. You can also become a Squadron season ticket holder to get complimentary tickets to this huge event right here in the Magic City. The Pelicans preseason game in Birmingham sold out last year, so get your tickets as soon as possible. Do that online at birminghamsquadron.com or by calling 205-719-0850. October 12th, it's the Pelicans and Rockets at Legacy Arena right here in Birmingham. birminghamsquadron.com.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, we have everything from tequila cocktails and an extensive bourbon category to local craft beers and handcrafted whiskey cocktails. And don't forget about that 29-degree man-sized drafts. It's Twin Peaks at the Patton Creek Shopping Centers.
Do you need extra cash handy? Look no further than Legacy Credit Union for whatever loan your lifestyle requires. It only takes a few minutes to apply and request the amount you need to give you peace of mind. With affordable low rates and manageable payback plans, a Legacy Lifestyle loan is crafted just for you. Apply online today at legacycreditunion.com/join. Lifestyle loans from Legacy. Terms and conditions may apply. Legacy is federally insured by the NCUA.
You want to look great while supporting your favorite show? You know the place to go is the official Next Round store at nextround.store. Yes, there are .store domains, and we have one. From shirts to hoodies to hats and all kinds of fun stuff, you can rep the Next Round anywhere you go. At the beach, Next Round hats to block out that sun. Up north in the winter, get you a comfy Next Round hoodie. Just need something to put your $20 beer in at a game? Get you a Next Round koozie and throw that thing in your pocket. You never know what stuff Jim's going to make me put in there next. Check it out. It's the Next Round store at nextround.store.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Final hour of the live show now, brought to you this hour always by our great friends at Champy's, world-famous fried chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling and the crew, perfect for your tailgates this weekend, including if you're heading to the big game in Tuscaloosa. Take a big platter of Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, the hand-cut chicken fingers, and so much more. ChampysChicken.com. Sterling the crew waiting to help you. Some of you last night tweeting pictures of you watching Clemson and Duke while enjoying a margarita for Jimmy Buffett in Champy's in Alabaster last night.
How about that? Yeah.
They got great margaritas there as well. ChampysChicken.com. Down goes Clemson last night. Duke beat them, and a big weekend ahead, especially for the SEC. I feel like I should be getting a tattoo every time this guy comes on the show.
Well, you can do it. Brandon Marcello with us at Marcello 24/7 Sports. Is where you find Brandon on Twitter, by the way. He is on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. How are you today, Brandon?
I'm doing very well. Very, very well.
What has happened to Clemson? If you could nutshell it for us, why are they not where Dabo Swinney had them 5 years ago?
Dabo Swinney's been unwilling to go into the transfer portal when he's obviously needed to do so, and specifically going to go get receivers that could be game breakers for him. Their receivers have been very, very average, and in fact, I would say a liability for them for the last 3 years.
I mean, when you look ahead, I mean, Florida State, I know it's week 1, but watching Florida State against LSU, the athletes seem what Clemson used to have when they were winning national championships. And, you know, I know somebody in our chat room said the number went from Clemson -3 to Clemson +3. I don't see a world where Florida State doesn't win this league. And I know, again, it's just 1 week. But that's the way, after watching 1 week, it looks like that.
Yeah, I'm just wondering where the dogs are at for Clemson. Like, where's the guy that's going to take over a game for them? I mean, they've got great players, but I'm not so sure they've got elite players. And for that matter, how's this team respond when the going gets tough? I mean, listen, if they played Duke again tonight, they would probably beat Duke because they had those 3 turnovers. They got inside the 7 or 6 yard line 3 times and got 0 points in the second half. Credit Duke for playing great defense, number one, and then, of course, getting a helmet on the ball to force fumbles and turnovers. But you got to respond. And, man, I don't know about you, but watching that last night, I kept getting these shivers of Clemsoning back on my body. That's what it felt like I was watching. I was watching Clemson choke away a game like we saw them do previously in the early days of the Dabo Swinney era.
That's like Christmas is past there. A little ghost coming into the conversation. Clemsoning is back. The SEC not off to a great start in some high-profile games. Florida, Utah, I don't see them as like teams, even though they were without 4 major starters. You felt like Florida should have had a chance in that game. But the other 2, I felt like North Carolina, South Carolina should have been like opponents, and obviously LSU, Florida State. A lot of people thought LSU would win that game. Where do you think the SEC is on a alarm alert going into this weekend that has several high-profile matchups, including Texas and Alabama?
If I would say we're going to be able to judge the SEC harshly if they end up going and having a similar week this week with Texas, Alabama, and Texas A&M at Miami, which is one of my top games. In fact, I think it's number 2 on my list this week behind Texas, Alabama. The ACC is having a very successful time of it. And, of course, the Pac-12 as well, as I'm sure you guys have talked about, going 13-0 to start the season for them. But, Florida was kind of what we expected going out to Utah. It's just I expected more fight from them. The right side of their offensive line was much worse than I thought it was going to be. Blitz pickup from the running backs and tight ends is terrible. I'm not sure how you can fix that with the personnel they have. So long season ahead for Florida coming up. South Carolina, the offensive line, once again an issue. North Carolina's defense, much better than I thought it was going to be this season, at least here early in week 1. Carolina can fix some things, polish some things there, but they're looking like a team that might come back to earth a little bit and be like a 7-win team that doesn't necessarily have an upset victory that we're accustomed to seeing under Shane Beamer. But, I would not be freaking out too much outside of those, 2 teams, to be quite honest. But just it never looks good when your conference is 0-3 in those big-time showdowns. LSU, I think what worries me there is that the team took on the personality of their coach. And Brian Kelly, midway through the third quarter, looked like a guy who just kind of gave up, and then the team followed him after that.
Yeah.
LSU just gave up in that fourth quarter. It was terrible. And then you listen to Brian Kelly's comments afterwards saying, we thought we were another team out there, like we're the Georgia Bulldogs and all this stuff. And you look like a different coach out there to me. You didn't look like a head coach who thought he was still in the game midway through the third quarter. And your team reacted just as you did.
Brandon Marcello is with us, 24/7 Sports. He's on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. These guys will tell you that I randomly get caught up in random games, and one that I have talked about all off season happens this weekend. Lance just made it his upset alert. He's got the guns up over there. Oregon at Texas Tech. Now, full disclosure, I thought Texas Tech would beat Wyoming. So I thought this would be two undefeated teams and a really tough spot for Oregon. But I still think, even with all the points Oregon scored, this is a tough spot for what clearly is a Pac-12 contender.
Yeah, it could be. I will say this. Oregon's a little bit better up front than I thought they were going to be. And I know it's Portland State, but I was hearing that type of stuff in the offseason about how they're a little bit better defensively on the defensive front than they were thinking. But Texas Tech's going to be a completely different dog for them to have to fight. I watched pretty much the entirety of that Wyoming game, believe it or not. And Tech started out pretty hot. Tyler Shuck shouldering load there quite a bit, but they've got the pieces all across the board. They have done a fantastic job in the transfer portal under Joey McGuire. I expect them to rebound and respond with some vigor this week, and especially at home. We've seen that they've been very tough to play at home, beating Texas last season. This is a credible showdown, not just because of that, but also the storylines. Tyler Shuck, the Oregon transfer, now starting at Texas Tech, finally getting to start maybe potentially a full season after dealing with so many injuries. And of course, his bad exit at Oregon. Really an interesting game to watch there in Lubbock.
Yeah, one more thought on that. The other quarterback, Bo Nix. Here's a stat for you. I got off one of my news emails today. NFT sales are down 61%. Trades are down 81%. I'm still holding on to my Bo Nix Heisman NFT from way back on signing day a few years ago. Bo Nix for Heisman. I see signs at game day in Charlotte. We've seen the big post billboard up in New York City. Where are you on Bo Nix coming into this season? And who pays for stuff like that? Maybe, do you know, like, does Oregon pay for that? Or is there a collective that's paying for that? Is the Nix family paying for that to have signs at game day?
That's an interesting question. I don't know. But I think Oregon can very well pitch him for the Heisman and feel good about it. The Pac-12, as we know, is just absolutely loaded with quarterbacks this year. And you got Shedeur Sanders now all of a sudden being elevated in that conversation. And then meanwhile, I still think that the favorite in that conference is Utah, and they're playing their backup quarterback, who's not great. Pac-12 is incredible this year. But Bo, to me, he's so confident. And you guys know this from previously having him on your show. And I talked to him in July, and he just straight up told me that, hey, I feel like I am the best quarterback in the Pac-12. He says, I got to go prove it, but I feel like I am. He says he feels like he's the smartest quarterback out there. He understands the game better than anybody else out there. There's a reason why he's one of the most experienced and veteran quarterbacks in college football with the amount of starts he's had. I think like 48 starts in his career. This is a guy that understands the ins and the outs, but he's got to have consistent, explosive games to get in that Heisman conversation. We're talking about 4 touchdown passes every single week, and then a couple of rush scores mixed in there to where he has a big breakout game of like 6 touchdowns. And he's got to do it on a big stage in some big games. Those will come, but, great start to the season, obviously against Portland State, which I don't know how much you can read into it, but again, the good news is it seems like the pieces around him are pretty good. And again, what's hurt Oregon the last 2 years from getting to the Pac-12 championship and winning it has been in the trenches. They've been pushed around a little bit, and it certainly seems like that they've got some of that bully ball back in them a little bit. So that's a good thing for him.
Brandon, I know it's week 1, but I love these hypotheticals. So 2 of the biggest upsets, obviously Colorado winning outright, Duke winning the way they won last night against Clemson. If you were to ask Kirby Smart or Ryan Day, you can have your current quarterbacks in Carson Beck and Cal McCord, or you can trade for either Riley Leonard or Shedeur Sanders. Do you think one or both of those guys would take either one of those guys?
I think Ryan Day would be more willing to take Shedeur Sanders. I don't think Kirby.
Oh, he froze up on Brandon there.
That's the first time ever.
He doesn't think Kirby Smart would take Shedeur Sanders, I think he's about to say.
Or Riley Leonard. I don't know.
Wow. Riley's got to do a better job throwing, but could you imagine Shedeur throwing to Marvin Harrison Jr. and those other receivers? It felt like Kyle McCord was reluctant to throw into tighter windows. Shedeur Sanders found the open window and had no problem throwing
Fearless.
it. Yeah, for 510 yards. against TCU. So we lost Brandon there for a little bit. I will tell you that part of the show today is being brought to you by our friends at Harbin's Outdoor, LT. Tell us about Harbin's Outdoors. We'll see if we can get Brandon back for a quick second.
Yeah, Jeremy and his team, a one-stop shop. Again, if you are in the pool market or just need to get some landscaping done, these are your guys. Harbin's Outdoors, award-winning landscape company specializing in installing custom fiberglass pools, landscaping, hardscaping. Jeremy and his team, one-stop shop for all your pool construction needs. Harbin's does it all, from the install to the lighting, the final hardscapes around the pool, everything in between. It's beautiful work. You can find them on Instagram at Harbins_outdoors. You see it for yourself right there. Or you can call or text Jeremy directly, 205-300-0718. That's 205-300-0718. At Harbins, you and your home are the center of all that they do. Call today for all of your landscaping needs.
All right. We'll catch up with Brandon another time. We appreciate Brandon Marcello's time. Just a wonderful guy. Make sure you're following and liking him everywhere. He was on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. We'll tell you about Johnston RV Center in just a second. Rockstar, if you can, I don't think you can give me cut 5, can you?
No, I think that was all on our end.
That was the freeze.
So our computer is the one that went down on that one. Okay, so no cut 5 there. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about JohnstonRVCenter.com, Brown, and then we will reset and get going here.
Let's pretend that's cut 5. Johnston RV Center, I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Cherokee is the #1 selling brand in all of America. It is the #1 selling brand in Alabama. And you guessed it, Johnston RV is the #1 Cherokee dealer in the state of Alabama. Go see why. Payments starting as low as $199 a month on things like the Cherokee Gray Wolf, Alpha Wolf, Cherokee Arctic Wolf, toy haulers like the Wolf Pack, and great discounts for all those of you that are in the military. Those of you that have served our country so bravely, whether you are active duty or retired, we appreciate you making America the greatest country in the universe. And so does Johnston RV Center. They give you great discounts. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Always online, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
Our buddy Clinton Lamb, who works with On3 Sports and covers Alabama, tweeting this out earlier. If you're going to the Alabama-Texas game, or if you're watching the Alabama-Texas game, the position battle to watch is receivers for Texas versus DBs for Alabama. And he lists them 7 deep here on just the 4- and 5-star talent on both these teams at that position. Receivers for Texas, Xavier Worthy, who may be the best one in the country behind Marvin Harrison. A.D. Mitchell, who's caught a touchdown pass in every championship game Georgia's ever had under Kirby Smart, and now he's at Texas. Isaiah Nair, Jordan Whittingham, Jonte Cook, Jatavian Sanders, Gunnar Helm. They're going up against Kool-Aid McKinstry, Terrion Arnold, Caleb Downs, Malachi Moore, you hope, Key Smith, Story, Amos Little, Deontay Lawson, Jaheed Campbell. Some names you may not be familiar with on the back end of that Alabama secondary. That will be the show Saturday night. Can Quinn Ewers beat Alabama DBs downfield in 15-plus yard passes? Will he have time to do it? And can those guys get open against that secondary? That is the matchup to me.
Well, it's a big matchup, but you brought up the key point. Will he have time? And you saw what the Alabama pressure ultimately did to him, putting him out of that game last year. You know, Braswell, Turner, you get Jaheim Oates with the push up the middle. If they can get pressure on Quinn Ewers, they're going to be in a good spot.
They can, and I really, really, really like the game Deontay Lawson had.
I do too,
He came highly acclaimed by Tyler Watts in the Talk of Champions podcast in the Roll Tide pod section, and I thought he lived up to Tyler's billing, Dunaway. He did not oversell Deontay Lawson to me.
He did not, and Nick Saban raved about him this week about how he's the guy that calls the plays, gets everybody in the right place, and you know, it was only Middle Tennessee, but as you know, Coach Saban pointed out, they throw a lot of different formations and changes at you, and Alabama seemed to be buttoned up on most of those plays. Here's Steve Sarkeesian, who had a cameo at halftime of the big watched, highly viewed LSU Florida State game. And then this week as well, he gets asked about last year's close loss in Austin. Something I think Texas fans, though they lost the game, left the stadium feeling pretty good about their football program and where it was headed. Here's Sark on that game last year.
When you were trying to build this program, was last year's game a really good indicator of where you were going and maybe kind of opened your eyes to not your eyes, but your players' eyes to we can compete with anybody in the country, the feeling y'all had after that game, even in a loss?
I mean, I think so. You know, we knew the type of team that they have at Alabama. I know the players that they've recruited. I know the coaching that they have. And so for us to be able to go toe-to-toe with them a year ago, you know, I think in the end, you know, I'm not big on moral victories, but I do think for some of the guys on our team, it was like, okay, continue to believe in what we're doing. It's going to work, and we're getting there, and we're getting closer. So to some degree, yes, I agree with that.
Yeah. So it gave them a little something, but they're not into moral victories. There's no moral victory for them this year. They know they can play with Alabama now. If a 1-point loss or a 20-point loss is not going to matter. They're coming to Tuscaloosa to win this game outright.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. They believe they're going to win this game. Look, they're catching 7. I think Vegas believes that Alabama's still the better team. I don't know what to think. I've been back and forth on this game.
But I will tell you, LT, when you say they're catching 7, when you factor in that Alabama has the long winning streak going on all the way back to the LSU loss in 2019, right? That's the last time they lost at home. And they're so good at Bryant-Denny Stadium. That's got to be 3.5 points, 4 points maybe of that. So really, if this was a neutral site game, it'd be Alabama 3.5. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, so that's a close contest.
Well, I think if I'm a Texas fan, I'm probably a Texas player. I walked out of that game last year thinking if Quinn Ewers plays the full game, we win that game. And I don't think that's an irrational thing to think. I mean, Alabama had only seen him a few drives, but boy, he was having his way.
Yeah, or if Bryce Young wasn't wearing the crimson and white uniform,
right.
He made some unbelievable plays.
And that probably is not an irrational thing to think. And Quinn Ewers, you hope, is playing this whole game, and Bryce Young's not in that crimson uniform. So now it's up to Jalen Milroe to make the hero plays sometimes when called upon. And it's up to that defense to play better than they played in Austin. You remember it was pass interference after pass interference. The first half was embarrassing, really. And it's amazing Texas didn't score more than they scored the way Alabama's defense played.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how aggressive Kevin Steele as a defensive coordinator is at bringing pressure and where he brings it from in this game as opposed to Pete Golding last year. All right, much more in that game as we get closer to kickoff. Remember, everybody's in town for the big game this weekend. And then everybody's back in town coming up September 30th and October 1st for the Talladega Super Speedway and the NASCAR playoffs for the Yellowwood 500. Nothing like seeing the drivers at 200 miles per hour, bumper to bumper, door handle to door handle, as many as 20 rows deep, speeding around the world's fastest speedway. You can be there and see Hardy in concert. All you have to do is get tickets at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. September 30th, October 1st, couple of races. Hardy concert on that Saturday night, October 1st, the big race on Sunday. It's TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. We'll introduce you to Disrupt Media employee number 13, and we'll do trash coming up in the next segment right here on TNR.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
The Next Round store is live and loaded. Check out the latest logo t-shirts and hoodies. Get your favorite team colors, the Next Round flag shirt, or grab the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest t-shirts. Go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Start your day online at nextroundlive.com. Get all the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. And it's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. It's our friends at Hydra Live Therapy. IV therapy treatments are packed with nutrients to increase energy, reduce stress and anxiety, and boost your immune system, and more. If you mention the Next Round at checkout, save 20% off any service. You can join the IV League today. Members are rewarded with deep discounts. Make sure you ask about that. Hydra Life Therapy open 7 days a week. Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone.
You hear a lot of interesting phrases while playing golf, like, I think you're on the beach, or the classic, you gotta hit it, Alice. One word you're sure to hear right now at Bentbrook Golf Club is wow. Brand new carts with complimentary GPS and the bent grass greens are so consistent, you just might drain a few more putts, Alice. Tee it up and find out for yourself. Book around today at bentbrook.com or call 428-1999. It's better at Bentbrook.
New addition to the family after LT tells us about Dr. B.
Again, when I started to thin out a couple of years ago, I asked around. Dr. Beckett's team was the name. Everyone said Dr. B offering that Sensus transdermal infuser. This enables Dr. B to get various medicines and therapies into the scalp where the hair follicles are without using any injections. This is revolutionary, as Dr. B can pinpoint delivery of a patient's genetically specific products without any needles. T3hair.net. Make the phone call today, 205-319-0316. That's 205-319-0316. And make sure you tell Dr. B the Next Round sent you.
All right. Number 13 has joined us, and we're about to tell you what she's going to be doing for us. But first, please welcome to the Disrupt Media family, Emily Grace McWhorter. She will be known as EG with us. What is up, EG? How are you?
Hello, everyone. It feels good to be here. Good to be in the studio.
Right. Yeah. You are a Georgia Southern graduate.
I am.
They play UAB this week. GATA.
Go Eagles.
Yeah. Even against UAB this week.
Absolutely.
That's okay. You pull for your alma mater.
It is.
Yeah. So you grew up in Atlanta.
I did.
Yeah. And you started with us yesterday, and your first day at work was what?
Yesterday, and we did the college fantasy draft. That, guys, I was the last pick.
Yep.
I'm going to put that out there.
Uh-huh.
So they are not picking favorites. I was the last pick, but we also did the NFL draft.
Yep.
I have a few Georgia Southern players on there, but we discriminated against the group of 5
That's
in
right.
the college draft.
Yeah, we had to go Power 5.
Well, I mean, you saw how long Power 5 took.
Yeah, I know.
If we would have gone deep on the Group 5, 133 teams, we'd still be here.
I think we would too.
Yeah.
But it was good.
So you are going to be covering the state teams, Alabama, Auburn primarily. You'll be in Tuscaloosa Saturday for Alabama, Texas.
And talk about a big game and big first game as a professional, as Dunaway said, but I'm really excited to get things going. Like I said, I'm coming from Statesboro, so Paulson Stadium is a little bit different than Bryant-Denny, but I'm excited for the challenge.
Yeah. And you just graduated, right?
Yes.
So back in May, was it?
May 9th.
Okay, so you're a May graduate from Georgia Southern. So your first job is with us, and now you're off to the same place game day's at, same day same place McAfee's at, and Fowler and Herb Street. You'll be at Texas and Alabama. What's your expectation for the weekend? Not predicting the game, just the atmosphere. Are you a game day person? You like to tailgate? You like to experience a full day of college football?
So I got a taste of how special college football is and was the App State Georgia Southern game last November, and that feeling, and you guys watching, you know the feeling of college football. You can't replicate it. It truly is just the essence of excitement, of adrenaline. And so taking what I have been able to do, able to see, and now bring it to Texas at Alabama in Tuscaloosa, coming off of last year, guys, it's going to be insane. And I'm so excited to see our fans out there, get to meet some of you guys, hopefully, and just take it all in.
Have you been to Tuscaloosa before?
I have not ever been
Wow.
to Tuscaloosa. What a first trip.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
Yeah,
It's
buckle
first trip
up.
for a Texas
I
game
know.
with everybody in the world there.
Yeah,
and
so-
with Dunaway.
Right.
Yeah, no, we're not riding together.
No.
But,
Okay, well.
but I'm going to be in the press
Yes.
box if she has questions. She's got my number, and it's sort of a, what was the old guy in Lion King, and then the new king was taking over.
Mustafa?
Mustafa.
Mufasa.
Dunaway's Mustafa. Mufasa.
Yeah, I'm Mufasal.
Mufasa.
That's who I am. All of a sudden, I'm Mufasal. Put that on a T-shirt.
Mufasal.
I'll be passing along information
That's right.
if she has questions.
Yeah.
Don't get too into Nick Saban's face in
Yeah.
the pregame walk around, things like that.
I would take, if this is my advice, I would take Eli Gold's hot dog out from in front of him and see what happens.
No, don't do that.
Now, what I've already learned, guys, is what Lance says, take it with a grain of salt. I've already learned that, and I'm, 12 hours into this?
That's right. Yeah, very early to have learned that lesson
Do
already.
you remember
It's
the
cool.
first thing Lance asked you before the NFL draft? We did that first yesterday. What was the first thing Lance asked you?
I don't remember.
Are you offended by?
Oh, foul language.
Yeah.
I said I can't be here.
I had to wonder. I mean, I don't know what I would have done if she would have been like, I really like Bobby Johnson, old Vanderbilt coach. I'm going to fine you if you cuss.
What would you have said if I did say that?
I mean, we would have had a problem. But I told you I was the HR director,
Right.
so it
If
wouldn't
I had a
have been
problem-
too big of a problem.
I was going to Lance anyway.
Yeah,
so.
I just
that's
throw it over my shoulder.
So you'll be in Tuscaloosa some, in Auburn some of the news conferences, some personal interest stories about
Right.
the players. You're going to be here a lot, though. I mean, we're not just sitting around the field, never see her. She's going to be part of the family. Some new content she's got coming up.
I hope not. I gave up my desk for her.
I know. We're just we're creating things on the fly. We're creating
are.
things on the fly for EG here, number 13. So
right.
welcome aboard. We're happy to have
Thank
you.
It's going to be good.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Working on number 13 for a long time. Glad finally have you in town. And she lives here now. We've moved her to town. Excited to have her. She's going to sit in through trash as well. Our first trash. Hit it, Rockstar. Let's do this thing.
So, what was your inspiration for tonight? Be honest with me and go into detail.
Wow. Wow.
That sounded like you
LT's
doing the
Trash is
interview.
presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Not the cat part, the question part.
Yeah.
Hey, buying a house, a major milestone in life. Getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with our friends at Mortgage Right, who do mortgages the right way. Call today, 205-815-9200 or online, mortgageright.com/TNR, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. This new trend is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. So there's this chick out there, and she's welcoming strangers into her bed every night. It's become a profitable practice.
Oh, that's been going on since the caveman days.
I believe it is the oldest profession.
This has got a little wrinkle to it. There she is right there.
All right.
Very natural.
Yeah.
She tucks in an extra $600 a month by renting out the unoccupied side of her mattress, where her ex-boyfriend once slept for 2 years.
By the way,
EG?
that looks like a full-size bed. That does not look like a queen or king.
Yeah. EG, thoughts?
I am now paying my own rent, but I don't think I will ever
I
get to
would
this
not,
point.
Yeah, not recommended.
I'm
Mom
going to tell
and
you,
Dad?
this is going to end bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I would agree with Lance. I think you're going to get $600 out of the wrong person at some point.
Yeah.
Is this story local? Is that Houndstooth or no?
That is Houndstooth, yeah. I was thinking that.
Roll
yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Okay, so the hot side hustle is called the hot bedding trend. Now, hot bedding is excellent for people who are able to detach emotionally, sleep next to another person in a completely respectful and non-strings attached manner. This according to Monique Jeremiah there, a 36-year-old from Queensland, Australia. And while hot bedding has yet to achieve viral glory on social media, a popular TikTok clip, which garnered over 762,000 views, detailed the monetary benefits as well as the potential dangers of the fad. But Jeremiah says the trend can be extremely lucrative as long as both parties are clear on the terms.
I'm so sorry I was not clear on the terms.
Yes, I did not read.
I
just
sleep
clicked
naked.
yes.
Just want to let you know.
Well, I'm a big fan of being Little Spoon sometimes. Is there a platinum upgrade where I could be Little Spoon if I wanted to?
I'm sure. I mean, if she's letting people sleep in her bed for a few $100, probably so.
Maybe also, if you notice, her bed's kind of far away from the wall. That kind of creeps me out.
Yeah, I'm with you, Rockstar. I've
like in
not
the
seen
center
that
of the
set up
room.
before. Yeah.
And are those lights or hooks on the wall? Just asking.
That's a good question, Jim. That I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, 50 Shades of Scary, though.
Yeah,
agreed.
She goes on to say it takes two people who respect each other's space, values, boundaries to do hot bedding. It's just like sharing a room with two beds. However, you only sleep in the same bed together. You definitely want a big bed and lots of space in the room to make it worthwhile. That's not a big bed. I agree.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. There are nights I like to just sleep alone.
Me
I like
too.
to go diagonal across the bed.
Yeah.
Well, sure as I don't want to sleep with somebody I don't know.
Yeah, I've been married 25 years, and we don't touch while we sleep.
Oh, we don't either because I'm so hot and my wife's so cold-natured.
Yeah,
it's just,
But it's hard when you're on the couch, right?
yeah. There has been times when we haven't touched when I've been sleeping in my sports room, 100%.
Okay, from that bed to this one, the Puffy. It's invented by a couple of dudes who built the business while studying.
Well, EG's got thoughts already.
This pops on my Instagram feed for some reason.
At the University of British Columbia. Now, the idea came in 2021 with the typical college student fashion. They wanted to take a nap in the middle of the day. One problem, they couldn't find any comfortable spots to snooze on campus. Then, in a coffee shop, they saw a dog napping that afternoon away on a dog bed. The idea for Puffy was born. The two founders raised money on Kickstarter, scored a spot on Shark Tank, where they received $200,000 investment from Lori Greiner and Mark Cuban. But more than that, the time on TV helped Puffy go viral, and now it's a big deal. They're selling these things for $349 each.
Oh my goodness.
It does seem a bit steep.
That's not a hefty. I mean, I have a body-sized bean bag that I enjoy watching games on Saturday. You move around the room a little bit. This would interest me a little bit. Why you had
I think it's a novelty thing that you'll use like one or two times, and then just it sits in the corner of the room.
Scotty, I think this is a perfect time for the footage of Bullet. So I've rescued a dog, trying to decide whether Bullet's going to stay with me. He is a complete gremlin, acts like Stripe. I need to get him a dog bed, but if I ever tried to sleep with Stripe / Bullet, here would be the problem.
Okay, video
from Scott on Bullet.
Yeah, this is last night.
Oh, we got a problem.
Forrester needs his microphone on for some reason. Do you have a disclaimer or warranty?
I'm not sure one of them is suitable for air.
Oh, it's a dog.
Wait, is it? There's no language. We can't hear the audio, Scott. Is it language related?
No.
It's visual related.
No, it's very much visual.
Okay.
Does it involve number 2 or number 1?
No.
Rocky, you saw it. Do you think it's that bad?
it's very visual. Go ahead.
I mean, this is what I'm dealing with. I called the rescue girl last night. I'm like, I don't know what to do because not only did he tear up my bed sheets yesterday, he was in a park for 3 hours. Right when he got home, he shit on the carpet. And then he walks over to the air vent where the air's blowing out and pisses in that. So now, I swear to God.
Mister.
It's like a fountain at that point.
Yeah.
This is the Venetian.
Someone just homered in Kansas City.
This is him nonstop last night.
I trust Scott's judgment here.
I just don't think it's that big of a deal.
Okay.
And it's me getting violated.
Oh, well, I mean, I do think that's a big deal.
Oh, I don't think that's against. We don't have FCC rules.
don't.
It's a dog.
I mean, it happens in movies.
Right.
Are we signing
There's a movie
off
I want
on
to show
this?
them.
I'm signing off on it.
I don't know. I haven't seen the video. I have no idea.
I don't think it's that big of a
So
deal.
do we give
It's
a-
a big deal for me because I got to deal with this shit every night.
How long's the video?
Oh, it's
30 minutes.
No, it's
How long is it, Scotty?
It's 6 seconds
Okay.
long, but I've got it looped.
6 seconds long. So we're going to give a disclaimer. If you don't want to see Lance get violated by a dog.
Yeah, and really, and this
Poll question, Taylor?
like he normally uses the hook. He sneaks up on me.
Yeah.
Hey, and by the way, the name of this video is One Night in Lance. Here we go.
Jim.
Wow.
All right, here we go. So turn away if you don't want to see Lance get violated. I think he likes you, Lance.
Oh, it's nonstop. I swear.
My dog just licks me.
Again, this dog is straight out of the woods. I don't think he's ever had an owner.
I don't think he's ever
been on a
companion,
couch.
Lance.
Yeah.
You two got a future.
So I'm a little afraid to get in the Puffy with him.
I wouldn't if I was you.
This is what I'm dealing with.
Yeah. Lance gives birth to a Vizsla in 9 months.
I can't stop watching. I mean, between the porta potty fight at the Morgan Wallen concert
was
and
phenomenal.
this,
Yeah.
I
Hey,
can't
Scott,
stop
do you
watching.
have? We're done away sheet. So I take my. Where are these sheets?
What,
The
the
game
thing?
day
This?
sheet. Yeah, that. I take it downstairs to
Okay.
Club LT every Saturday. That's how I set up my TVs.
Me
I think
too.
you guys
Me
do
too.
the same.
This gets personal if he has messed up my sheet.
Well, I'm sure he
Watch
crapped on
this.
it.
So I'm
sure.
sitting there. I'm trying to enjoy a Stella.
Right.
I'm getting my. I think it was the 2:30s or the night slate. Getting those TVs ready. So I had out my card, getting everything prepared, and this is what Bullet does.
What, he's eating the sheet?
He won't leave it alone.
Yeah. I mean, look, this dog's not a cultured animal, Lance. He's been living in the woods. Now, Karen says you get the old snip on him and he'll quit humping you.
Oh, but see, the problem is we don't know if he's 6 months or a year.
Rockstar, he's got a little Mississippi leg hound in him.
You gotta let him finish, man.
Let him finish.
So he's got an appointment today with Rab, one of our listeners. We met him
Uh-huh.
at Walk-Ons. He's a vet, and he's going to see him at 3 o'clock today. And I talked to him last night, and he said he wants to wait until he's a year and a half old to get rid of that the junk. I haven't had a male dog in like 15 years.
Well, how you going to know how old he is? Nobody's going to know that.
I don't know.
He's been living in the woods.
I don't want to stunt his growth, but, I don't know
Don't
what
let
to
him
do.
smoke then.
Don't let him smoke. Don't let him work out early.
I'm worried more about him stunning your growth.
You're probably going to need to close the door at night if you don't.
Lance be walking in here with a limp.
I'm clawed up right now.
Yeah, right, congrats.
Yeah, I see now why he growls at the roommate.
Wait till the Rams win.
Okay, here are the America's top 10 most Googled slang terms.
Okay.
Let's see if you know what these mean. You
Ready,
ready?
G?
let's
Because
do
she's
it.
young?
Yeah,
We're
I
going to go
know.
with a young
Young
female
and
in here?
spry.
Here we
Let's
go.
see how many she gets right with the
gosh.
Bell if it's correct. Here we go.
IYKYK.
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
I knew that
I knew that one. I'm an old
Even I
man.
knew that one.
Yeah.
Now, you know this one because you suffer from it. FOMO. FOMO.
Fear of missing out.
Fear of
Yeah.
missing out.
Yeah, you'll learn that from Dunaway. He's a big FOMO guy.
I am too a little bit.
Oh, wow. You
A little
too.
bit.
Yeah.
See you
I did-
Saturday.
yeah.
It'll be quite the trip to Tuscaloosa for you.
See you
EG.
Saturday. Again, we're not riding together.
Yes. Okay. All right, Jim. You're going to be in the same city. My apologies.
Okay, ratio.
Ratio?
Yeah, that's on social media, like on
Twitter?
Twitter, where if you tweet something that's stupid,
You get more replies.
more replies than likes. Yeah.
When replies to a tweet vastly
Yeah.
outnumber likes or
Yeah.
retweets.
That's because people are laughing at you, arguing with you. Nobody's liking your tweet. So you're getting ratioed.
What about no cap?
I know this one too.
That's how do I explain no cap?
There's no kind of
There's
no limit.
There is
limit.
no limit. It's
Yeah.
a very versatile term.
That's like the Dolphins going to win the Super Bowl this year.
no
No
cap.
cap.
Yep.
To say you're not lying or exaggerating?
That's right. I'm not.
Yeah. Your job description here, what you're going to do day to day. No
No
cap.
cap.
No cap.
Amen to that.
No
No
cap.
cap.
Yep. The college draft yesterday. No cap. It could have lasted forever.
Everyone knows GOAT. FYP.
For you page. TikTok.
Yeah. I've seen that on TikTok.
I had
yeah.
no idea, did you?
I did not.
I'm a
not
consumer
sure
of
I even know
TikTok.
what
Yeah.
she's talking about now.
Now, the next
the
few
for
I-
you, that's what you get when you log on, not your followers. That's what
Okay.
they serve up to
It's
you.
I never
oddly
click on that.
specific too.
Yeah,
So
it's for you. It's probably like a lot of girls in bikinis.
No, it's so it's the algorithm stuff.
Yes.
Oh, it'll be a lot of live music. there.
Yeah, live music. Yeah,
A lot of
I'll
Zach Bryan.
think of
Females.
something and it'll show up, and
Yeah.
that's when
Like-
I get a little nervous.
Yeah,
You'd be
it is.
shocked if you looked at my algorithms on Instagram. It's all Vishless.
Oh, really?
Doesn't
That's
shock
strange,
me.
Yeah.
By the way, somebody was asking, Chili gets out of boot camp Friday, and Lady Bird moved to Atlanta today.
Wait till Chili walks in and sees that seat on the couch. She's gonna go.
No, Chili will take Bullet by the trachea, shake him up a little bit. Chili doesn't play around.
Interesting.
That's why Chili's in boot camp. Okay, I learned these from our guy Jack Poole, our intern last year. Bussin'.
Good.
Yeah.
Really
That's
good.
So you could use it with food too. Like that
Yeah.
hot dog is busting.
They say usually describes food.
Yep.
Well, Anna Kate's taught you well.
She has. I mean, when you have a teenage daughter, you hear all these. Yeah.
Sus.
Kind of shady.
It's
if you
like
will.
short for suspicious.
Suspicious.
Yeah,
Suspect.
Bullet is sus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woke. We know what woke is.
Yeah.
And
Overused.
simp.
Simp.
Simp
I
is.
guess-
Simp is done away.
Yeah.
A
Simple.
simp for something.
Simple, right? Simple.
No, it's a man
No.
who's overly submissive to women.
Yeah.
Oh,
Little spoon.
Overly.
I am.
Overly, right?
Overly.
I am. I apologize.
And
To all of
finally,
you.
Thank you for being submissive.
Yes, thank you, Jeff. For
hey, we've got iconic
Little spoon.
roles
I apologize.
that actors made little to no money on. This is a little fascinating list. So Harrison Ford, one of his first roles outside of American Graffiti was Star Wars, and he was a carpenter when he got discovered. And so, do you know what he was paid for the role of Han Solo in the original Star Wars?
$500,000.
$8,800.
$10,000.
$10,000. Did you say 500,000?
Yeah.
Take that hard.
Pretty good in 77.
I mean, there are people who are making $10 million movies.
I
right?
don't think Mark Hamill made 500,000 playing Luke Skywalker.
James Earl Jones, none of those guys did.
Real quickly, E.G., have you ever seen the original Star Wars? Be
I
honest.
have not.
Yeah, you don't. I haven't either.
Have you seen Jaws?
I have not.
Yeah.
The Godfather.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I've seen The Godfather on TV.
Yeah.
Don't ask me any questions about it, but I've seen it.
All right.
Hilary Swank, very uncomfortable movie. She won an Academy Award for her role in Boys Don't Cry. But you know what? She was paid for the role in Boys Don't Cry, which she won.
She get paid
actress.
double?
$43,000.
$3,000.
$3,000? So she had never acted before?
Did she have gambling
No,
debts?
she had acted. She was a next Karate Kid.
Well, why was she only getting $3,000 for
It's
this?
an independent
It was an
film.
independent film. It wasn't a big budget.
But you know what it did for her?
What,
Propelled her into A-list.
Yeah.
They also got her on The Office. Is she hot or not? Was that the one they did? Yeah. Is Hilary Swank hot or not? When Kevin brought up the whole.
Yes.
They had to get
Yes.
Oh,
everybody to
that's
vote.
right, on
coming
The
back,
Office.
yep.
So you like The Office,
I
E.G.?
love The Office.
Yeah, that way you do.
Just trying to help our audience out. They're trying to piece together
Number
your
13
personality.
loves The Office.
Okay, the first actor to portray Michael Myers in Halloween. Did you ever see the original
I
Halloween?
don't rock with scary movies. I get scared of my own shadow.
So this actor's name was Nick Castle. What do you think he got paid?
Well, if Hilary Swank got $3,000, I'm going to see this guy doubled that, $6,000.
Yeah, but I mean, he's walking around in a mask. You don't even have to be that good an actor. I'm going to say a couple grand.
$25 a day.
$25 a day.
Yeah.
John Candy was paid just $414 for his part in Home Alone.
Oh, and it's an iconic part.
It
really.
was done mostly as a favor to writer John Hughes.
How about that?
Now, didn't he do this for free?
I mean, basically.
Basically,
That's probably his
yeah.
meal that day.
He lost money on the food.
God rest his soul, yeah.
So I was not a fan of Napoleon Dynamite. My kids love it.
Yeah, I
Are
never
you a
liked it.
fan?
No.
Okay, John Heder, his first role. What do you think he got for the title role in Napoleon Dynamite? Again, an independent film, all on set, I think, in Idaho.
And they all got all their costumes from the thrift store.
$8,000.
Every costume was done at the thrift store.
$1,000.
Insane. No wonder they're all striking.
That's all
That's
I got.
the writers.
That is trash brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Are you VA looking for that veteran loan? Our friends at Mortgage Right, they're going to take care of you as a veteran-owned, operated company. They've been advocating for veterans since their company began. Visit their location is Highway 280 in Birmingham, Parkway Drive in Leeds. You can apply at mortgageright.com/TNR. Call 205-815-9200. NMLS 2239. Equal housing lender.
I don't know if EG knows this yet or not, but on Wednesday nights, a lot of everyone up here except me hosts trivia at a local place called Odie's. And there's a good chance at some point you may be asked to fill in for somebody. That happens all the time. Our friends at Odie's Trivia returns tomorrow night for the first trivia of fall, now that we're past Labor Day.
It is. Can you do tomorrow night, by the way, Brown?
Who, me?
Yep.
I'm playing golf tomorrow, but I'll be done in time. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think that should be good.
Ryan Brown
See,
will be
you were-
there.
you were that close to being
I
asked to
was.
host the
Tomorrow
first
night.
week in town.
Well, what you need
Am I
to do
filling
is
in for you?
Yeah, you are. You need to come out and see how it's done, and then you'll be a
Start
go-to.
training.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
right. Yeah.
Odie's Tavern, you'll love it, though. The food's great. Rodney Davis has been cooking it up for more than 3 decades. Great wings, delicious burgers, all types of sandwiches, including my personal favorite, the Diablo sandwich, ice-cold beer buckets, full of the Bud Light. It's starting to cool down a little bit at night. You can sit out on that patio, enjoy it. Not only the original location in Crestline, new location in Homewood right there on the corner of Broadway and Oxmoor Road. Go see Will and that great staff, Odie's Tavern.
Follow Sean Lunsford on Twitter @JLuntz.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
The next round is brought to you in part by the biggest, baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and always puts on a great show for the fans. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming and you do not want to miss it. Saturday, September 30th is the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, followed by Sunday's Yellowwood 500 in the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs. Be there to see drivers battle 500 miles to survive. Get your tickets now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
It's college football time in Alabama. This is Congressman Robert Adderholt. I grew up an Alabama fan, Roll Tide, but my wife, Caroline, grew up an Auburn fan, War Eagle. But no matter who you pull for, whether it's the Lions of the University of North Alabama or the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State or any other school in between, I want to wish all the players, the coaches, and especially the fans another great college football season here in Alabama. I'm Robert Adderholt, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Adderholt for Congress.
We've partnered with Who Is Coffee to create the Next Round Blend. Available in light, medium, and dark roast. 100% Arabica beans. Specialty coffee roasted on demand. Available in whole bean or ground for drip pods. Espresso and coarse ground for French press. Go to nextround.store to get a link to pre-order today. Everyone that pre-orders will be entered to win a prize pack with coffees, shirts, hats, and tumblers. Nextround.store for the Next Round Blend.
Going to a big football game? Walking around all day? Then you'll want comfortable shoes. This is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store. Score a touchdown with a new pair of ultra-comfortable running or walking shoes. Come to the New Balance Birmingham store. I'm telling you, we'll make sure you have a perfect fit and we'll treat you like the starting QB. Our job is to make sure your feet are happy. Visit the New Balance Birmingham store on Highway 280 next to Chick-fil-A. Your feet will thank you.
There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got two great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour. 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 in Hoover with walk-ons.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and our entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Top of the hour, one more reaction, one more big thought on Duke upsetting number 9 Clemson as we get ready for another massive week of college football and the NFL. This final segment being brought to you by our friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Great time to go use that promo code next round, Brownie, and jump in and play the games.
Get signed right up there at mybookie.ag. When you use code next round, you're going to get that welcome bonus there at mybookie.ag. Which is going to give you a sign-up bonus up to $200 in cash on any deposit of $50 or more. You can get up to $200 in cash, and it's instantly in your MyBookie account. You bet your deposit amount one time, and you can cash out at any time. It is yours forever if you win. That is MyBookie.ag, promo code next round. They also have the parlay deal. You got a 3-leg parlay there. You hit those first 2 legs, and you're like, oh, boy, I don't want to stay up and see if Stanford can get inside that 30 at USC Saturday night. Good news. Go ahead and cash right out. Use that money elsewhere at mybookie.ag. They've got cash out options there. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Mybookie.ag, code next round. Mybookie.ag, code next round.
There'll be a lot of people saying that Dabo is done winning championships. The Clemson dynasty's over. In fact, Grace Rayner, who has covered Clemson specifically and now all of college football for The Athletic, is writing that the dynasty is over. I mean, she's writing about that. Not that that's her opinion. She's writing about that today. It's a fair question. Alabama has won a lot more than Clemson has, and it suffers that fate a couple of times already since Nick Saban's been there. Got it in 2013, has gotten it again recently, that the dynasty may be over. Knee-jerk reaction, it's easy after a loss like last night. But what's left for Clemson the rest of this year? You pull up the schedule.
I got it.
You tell me how good you think Clemson can be? They got Florida State, they got Notre Dame, they got South Carolina, some of the games left in the schedule. Where can this team go after what happened last night?
Well, I think again, it's a Clemson team that went undefeated in the ACC last year. They won the ACC championship. I mean, they were knocking on the door of the college football playoff last year. Problem is they lost 3 out-of-conference games. Watching the team that I watched last night, again, no separation from those receivers. Will Shipley is like a one-man team. I think the defense is going to get better. It wasn't necessarily bad. They gave up some big plays, some big gash runs. The team I saw last night's 9-3. And I do think the dynasty's over because of this. Much like when Georgia came on the scene and Alabama started to back up a little bit, now Florida State is on the scene. And the ACC overall is a better conference. When you got a Duke team that won 9 games last year that just beat you by 21 at home, the balance of power shifted.
His hesitancy to play the NIL portal game is going to what I think is going to be what keeps him from winning a national championship again. He's going to lose guys in the portal, and he's not willing to take out of the portal, and he seems hesitant to play the NIL game, and that's just going to hurt you in recruiting long term.
2 great points here. One of them, Mark says, with the transfer portal, all dynasties are over.
That could be true.
Some people believe that,
yeah.
Even though we're sitting in a time that Georgia's back-to-back national champions.
Yeah.
Cody says, and this hasn't been talked about enough today.
Oh, I agree.
Play calling was pedestrian last night. A lot was made of Lincoln Riley's little brother, and I know I said it specifically in the summer, that we'll see about how good he is because Max Duggan did a lot of great stuff for him just as an individual last year and made him look like a brilliant play caller.
To be fair, though, they still went over 400 yards on the road against a really good defensive coach. He didn't call those fumbles. He didn't call his quarterback sliding before he got the first down. I mean, it's hard to pin some of that.
No, you're right.
I mean, Riley's got to shoulder some of the burden. They only scored 7 points, but I can't pin it all on him.
Right, but at the same time, Duke made some of those mistakes too. But one thing we didn't talk about? Cade Klubnik, not the best outing, but his ability to track down that defensive back after the scoop. How was that not a scoop and score?
Yeah.
I mean, DJ would have waved to that guy by.
Right.
Do you think Jalen Milroe catches him?
Yeah, Jalen Milroe is fast enough to catch him and big enough to bring him down.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that was still a great angle and a great hustle play.
But
are you suggesting that Klubnik's future may be in the NFL secondary?
I don't know, but, I mean, I was very impressed.
Well, Shipley's still 17 carries, 114 yards, so you ran the ball effectively, 213 rush yards. So you got Shipley involved in the receiving game. Riley did, 6 catches, 29 yards. Shipley's your best offensive player, so he involved him a lot, 23 total touches there. That's good. But your quarterback, 27 of 43, a touchdown and a pick, and the pick was a bad throw. He made some really bad throws. And Klubnik had a couple picks dropped, too. I mean, he could have thrown more.
Chase P. in the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room, I do find it interesting that you would watch a team lose 65-7 in a championship game and think, I need that guy to fix my offense, end quote. That was TCU last year against Georgia.
Yeah, but again, people jump quickly on board. You saw the Sean McVay tree, the Lincoln Riley tree when it comes to offense, his brother. And look, TCU's offense was really good last year up until Georgia.
Two quick things here. Forrester, get that. I told you about the messy security guard. Get that video. We had a lot of stars were watching this last night. But first, let me tell you, my Stranger Things today when I look at the point spreads. Nebraska, do they open up as a big favorite against Colorado, and it's been betted all the way over the other side? Was
7.5.
It was 7.5. That's a big favorite.
But I mean, there was zero expectation for Colorado.
I mean, but it was 7.5 like when it came out this week, right?
Oh, I don't think it was that big.
No.
Okay.
It was 7.5 until the end of the game Saturday with TCU.
I think
because I looked at covers today. That website
they've got it jacked up.
Okay, and it flips around now. Colorado's a betting favorite there. Miami, not as big of an underdog to Texas A&M as I thought they were going to be. Cincinnati getting a touchdown and a hook on the road at Pitt, I saw earlier at mybookie.ag. And then Texas State, that team getting double digits.
Yeah,
on the
but are
road
you believing in
UTSA.
TJ Finley 2 straight weeks?
No, but I saw UTSA. Didn't play great. It didn't look like UTSA.
No, but you take away one of his turnovers, they win that game. And I will guarantee you there's not another game this year he throws 3 picks.
Okay, tell me about Hemphill, and then I got this video I want to show you because I pointed this out last week.
For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, make the phone call that I've made way too many times. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemphill Services. The team can service all makes and models. Remember, 0% for 60 months for qualified customers, plus free 10-year labor warranty when you mention the next round. 205-229-2090 or online hemphillservices.com.
Okay, I don't have the guy's name. The security guard for Lionel Messi in Los Angeles last night, packed place. Remember, he's a former Navy SEAL that leads a 50-team security people that takes care of Lionel Messi and his entire family 24 hours a day. But during the games, he walks up and down the sideline, so he's even with Messi no matter where Messi's running on the field. And you think Klubnik chased somebody down last night. Watch this. Fan comes running on the field after Messi, and there's the security guard times it perfectly. Gets there right when he gets to Messi, calms him down, puts a bear hug on him, walks him over and lets security take care of him. And the old boy gets there in time, and if needed be, I think could have taken him out.
Could have crushed him. Could have driven him into the ground, blind side, probably buckled a shoulder, done some serious damage. He went high on it.
Yeah.
Could have gone right to the chest and taken that guy apart.
Yeah, but got to Messi doing his job. I mean, you got to be on a swivel.
I was a little confused the first time I saw the video because the guy's wearing a Messi jersey, and I'm like, oh my God, he attacked him. He's got the wrong guy. What are they doing with Messi? And then I realized, oh, okay, that's the other guy. Gotcha.
Good guy, good security guy to have. I'd like to have that kind of protection.
No doubt.
He'd be bored as hell, though. Nobody's after me.
Yeah, won't stay away.
One more thought, Brownie. What'd you have?
Well, I want to give a shout out to a frequent guest of ours and a guy that used to do a weekly hit with us for several years talking NFL. Chris Mortensen has announced his retirement. We love Mort. He's always been great to us. One of the nicest guys, served our country in the military, has covered the NFL for 33 years, and announces that he made the decision after the draft in April to step away from ESPN and focus more on his health and family and faith, and announces his retirement today. Obviously, he has battled cancer and has battled it very, very bravely. And I hope this time away continues to heal him. But shout out to Mort, one of the best.
He says it's not a classic retirement. I'll still be here talking ball. It's just time. God bless you all from Mort there.
I think we all respect and love Mort.
Oh, yeah.
And chances are good you'll see him at Protective Stadium.
That's right. Watching his son call plays for the Blazers.
UAB on the road at Georgia Southern. And if UAB beats Georgia Southern on the road this week, we'll be giving number 13, our new employee, EG, hell as she stepped out on that Georgia Southern limb in week number 1 here on the show. All right, a lot coming up on the Disrupt the Media platform a little bit later on. We're about to get a new ball coming up.
That's right, with Luke and Bill.
What else have we got today? Anything else?
DJ football debuts coming up later on. A little NFL talk with Daniel Jeremiah, the NFL Network.
Original roundtable.
Yeah, all that over on Disrupt the Media YouTube channel. You know how to do it. You go over there, you subscribe, you like, you set the alerts, you do all that stuff. And we're back here live again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.